Hey, welcome back to Metropole Grid. It's February 2nd, and we're back with a new roguelite mode. The long-awaited, now new version of the Metropole Grid lets you play randomized levels, and the perks are different, and the weapons are different every time. Limitless replayability. How's everyone doing? It's February the 2nd, it's Groundhog Day. What did that little rodent say about our weather system? Please, I don't know, I forgot to look it up, and I want to know how to dress tomorrow. Let's ask the little guy. Hey, Brennan, it's the grid. How's it going? Piotr, let's run some nets. We definitely are going to be running some nets today. Hopefully you're doing well. OS Intelligence, best time of the week. I'm glad you think that. I kind of do too. Glad you can join us. Hey, Dave, how's it going? Hello. Macaroni, how's it going? How's Friday over there? Macaroni, you were talking about playing, what's it called? Guardians of Atlantis 2 a long time ago, right? I watched a video review about it the other day. Roguelite, too casual. You can't tell if I said roguelite or roguelike Ixarin. That's why I purposely don't know the difference. Yo, Andre, give us the riffle report. I got it. It came in just the other day. I haven't played it yet. It comes with a deck of cards and like fewer dice than you'd want. A couple fewer dice. But I haven't played it yet. It looks interesting. I watched some gameplay online and it looks okay. I'll let you know as soon as I do. Good evening. That's so much. Thanks so much for displaying super modernism last stream. Playing it has been most fun I've had with startup so far. It's the slapper of a deck, and like I hope it was very obvious. We put up a video on the channel about super modernism, which is like a really old archetype that you can actually play in startup, and it's actually really fun. It has a lot of teeth. I had the pleasure of recording some gameplay to play against it, and actually like was kind of cool. Like I knew what the deck was because they were just playing my deck card from a card, and so like just trying to respect all the things were it's actually pretty difficult. I think the deck's actually quite reasonable. But I do think I want to keep it open. I think the deck has a lot of different ways you can go with it. I think snares might make sense. A lot more rushy ice makes sense. I was even suggested orbital superiority, which I'm only like half sold on, but I think there's a lot you can be doing there. Yo, Jeff, how's it going? What roguelites are grabbing you lately? Hitman. Hitman is no longer called Hitman 3. It's like Hitman World of Assassination. You always sound like a monster talking about how much you enjoy Hitman. But they just like recently, like I think last week, added this new free roguelike mode to the game, which is actually one of the coolest things they could add to that game because that game has so many like beautiful puzzle boxes to play within, and then just adding all these variables and allowing you to take your knowledge that some of these levels you've been playing, because like Hitman 1, 2, and 3 are all in the same package, like levels that you've been playing for literally, 5-6 years, going in there and be like, okay, well, see if your mastery plays out. It's cool. It's really, really cool. Guards of Atlantis 2. Yeah, okay, what did you think about it? I watched a review. There was like some, controversy bit about it, but like it looks like the sort of thing I want to try, but it'll never happen. Hey, Shishi Friday Eve. Roguelites are great. Hey, Lucas. Alistair, Enter the Gungeon. Alistair, how's it going? I have played about 100, maybe 200 hours of Enter the Gungeon, and I think I like it way more than most other people like Enter the Gungeon. I don't know. I'm a huge Enter the Gungeon fan. I'm quite good at it too, so I actually can like get to the later stuff, which is great. Cogmind is hella based as far as new roguelikes go. Hey, stream. Yo, Izzy, how's it going? I played a reboot game versus the original Wayland Super Modernism last night. It was running Double Fork. I was running Double Fork. Ooh, that sounds fun. I haven't played enough reboot. I should check it out. I can handle Rogue because Schmentrix, how's it going? Yo, real quick before I forget about roguelites, I always want to shout this out. And it's in early development. I actually have a key for this that I should probably give out at some point. I just have an extra key because of Humble Bundle stuff. This game is so much better than it looks. Like, honestly, it's called RoboQuest. It used to be, like, if you had a balance between how good a shooter is and how good roguelite is, this was like 95% good shooter and then like 40% roguelite. And now they've been updating, and now like the roguelike versions or the roguelike elements are actually getting much more and more interesting. But this game is genuinely such a better shooter than it ought to be. There's like a huge diversity in guns and abilities. Nothing's hit scan, and let me tell you, shooters where everything is hit scan are nonsense. Like everything's movement based. Like it has this sort of fun movement you'd expect. Like it kind of plays like Doom, not as aggro necessarily. The enemy designs are really fascinating and interesting. You have a choose your path. Again, it's early access, so not all the paths exist at this point, but it is hella good. I always, every time there's an update, sink another dozen hours into this thing. This thing is way better than it looks like. Really, really good. And the shooting, again, 90%, 95%, one of the best shooters I've played modernly, like no joke. The roguelike part and like build diversity, that's getting better. That's the part that they're realizing, like, well, we got a good engine down, but we need to make the build diversity a bit more interesting. But that doesn't stop me from playing the heck out of it. I wish I shouted this game more. I've been playing it for years. It's really, really good. Really, really good. Brews and Board Games did a solo playthrough with Riffle if you're looking for one to check out. I think that's maybe the one. I watched a guy in a room. That describes most people. But yeah, I watched one of them. I think it was that one. I didn't watch the full thing though. It was like 3 hours and every 5 minutes there was an ad. Does that sound like the one you were watching? Because literally every 5 minutes there was an ad roll. It was annoying. Hey Clayton, Quebec's Groundhog Day creature Fred Le Marmotte died this morning before he could reveal the weather secrets of French Canada? I can't tell if that's a joke or not, and I don't think Fred Le Marmotte might be a joke. Is that actually true? Is that the tragic fate of Fred Le Marmotte, who passed the morning that he was called to duty? It's real fun when you hit him with a space laser. Oh man, hey Thanos, how's it going? Inscription, Brendan. Inscription, actually, I don't know. Mixed. Is RoboQuest supposed to be like a neon white? No, it's not a neon white. Neon white is like more, from my understanding, I haven't played it yet, on the wish list, is more like a speedrunning game. This is more like a roguelite. Like, can you get to the final boss thing? So yeah. I don't have Returnal. I know it's coming to PC, but the specs on it are like absurd. I don't think I'll be able to run it. I think like staring at some ASCII and sweating. I have sunk so much time into Ratropolis. What is Ratropolis? I'm still worried about this Marmot. It's real. Oh, that's awful to hear. If your groundhog dies winter forever, and that's how Canada ends up the way it does. Okay, this genre of games, right, like Slay the Spire likes, obviously popped the heck off. It took like 2-3 years after Slay the Spire caught on for everyone to doing them, and I'm not saying they're bad, but there's so many of them, and it's really interesting to figure out which ones you really like and which ones you don't like. I tried Rogue Book, I think that's what it's called, and I bounced off this one really hard. I think the overworld stuff was really bad, and when I played it, the balance was terrible. It might be better now. I wanted it to be good, but anyways, there's a lot of them. I know they're good. It's real. Yo, Daijin, how's it going? Good night. Brews and Board Games is the guy, and he does play in a room, so that's most definitely it. I think that was it. Every 5 minutes is an ad. Good old NetHack is still fun. I've never played old NetHack. Yo, man, I got into Vault of the Void because of you. Yo, how is it? I had no idea, but like, so one of the dudes who sometimes watches the channel, he's an old Netrunner friend, and like we play Arkham. We've been playing together for years. He tunes in. His name's Eric. And like he has a problem when he plays games. He has to do all the achievements. And he turns out he was like one of the first people to get the highest achievement, highest ascension, highest difficulty run in Vault of the Void ever in the world. Like so much. And because Vault of the Void is like one dev, from my understanding, like he's in communication with the dev now for like balanced stuff and interesting stuff. He's also helping translate the game into French, which is really, really, really cool. But I haven't got enough into Vault of the Void, unfortunately. I played so much Slay the Spire, so much Monster Train, and then Vault of the Void was like the third one, and I just never got to put the time into it. But it's really good. Rat Travel is like a real-time STS. Cool. It's a real-time STS city builder hybrid. It's one of the better ones, but it's a very different vibe. Oh, that's super cool. Yo, Jeff, I see you playing on Steam sometimes, like a really goofy looking racing game. And I'm kind of intrigued. I looked it up. I'm like, that actually kind of looks fun. I don't know what you're doing. All right. Cool. I've decided I'll never ascend to NetHack though. It's so hard. I love NetHack. NetHack is fun. I don't usually like tower defense games, but strategy and Metropolis is super deep. Yeah, there's like certain genres of games that I know I struggle to enjoy. Tower defense is sometimes one of them, and I just don't like I think the big thing is like horde mode. The idea of like how long can you survive, to me, just makes me anxious and doesn't seem really fun. Right? Like if someone told me, okay, instead of, I'm going to send you the same amount of enemies, but instead you have to march into them, as opposed to like, I'm going to send you the enemies and you sit still and try and survive. One of them makes me hella uncomfortable. The other one, I'm like, I'm on a journey I'm doing, but like, it's always been that case. Any game that comes out, it's like, oh, it's survival waves. I'm like, I know how this is going to end. It's designed so at the end I lose. Like it's inevitable. And that tells you something about life, huh? I find it really hard to read enemy intensive Vault of the Void. I just need to replay the tutorial bunch to figure out. Gorfax, yeah, at least when I played, which was like maybe a year ago, they did describe everything that they were doing. The intentions were really high, but that game has like 4 or 5 different like most like effects, and then figuring out how damage works is like a bit unintuitive because they stack on damage and then the damage procs the following turn. Like it doesn't do it the way that you think it would do it, but it is definitely parsable once you figure it out. It does take a bit of a, a curve. Outing someone's shame game, damn cold. I don't think it's a shame game. I think it's a good game. I think Jeff's having fun. I'm deep into RimWorld, but that's not a rogue. I know of RimWorld. I think that's the sort of thing I'd like to enjoy. I bought that racing game because the YouTube algorithm got me with some classic dudes goofing around. It seems like a dudes goofing around game, and I think there's a great market for that. On that note, Hitman, surprisingly, dudes goofing around, I suppose. This is a cool deck list of the week. This is the one Kikai brought to the Norwich CO. I'm pretty sure Norwich is in the UK. They would probably say Norwich. And we played against this last week. Plants vs. Zombies Classic, but Plants vs. Zombies was doable. That didn't feel like horde mode. That actually had a narrative. It's weird how I'm not consistent, but such is the human experience. We played against this, and it was buck wild. We do not see it coming. I think that's a really big deal if this is a quote unquote competitive deck, that it's kind of hard to mulligan against both of them accurately. And this deck is attacking you in a totally wild and different way, where we saw our opponent score like 3 agendas on a single turn, which is not something you can often do, but this deck can do it. How it does it, it runs all the small agendas it can. And there's a bunch of 1-pointers you can play in NBN, and a lot of the NBN 1-pointers are actually not terrible. You can't say that across all factions. 50 minutes is fine. Fly on the Wall it's okay. It's what Drago used to look like. No one played it. You have Freedom Information as our tag punishment. Maybe it gets a 4-0. Then you can score all the agendas in a single turn. You have PTD 2-1 that draws a card, which is sick with what we're trying to do here. An agenda that's unstealable, again, technically tag punishment, and then we have a Tomorrow's Headline because it's a 3-2 that's good. We also run News Team. Negative agenda points are toxic. The value of these cards changes greatly based off of how many ways that the runners have to like forfeit agendas for abilities, and currently in the modern format, 0. It used to be different. Back in the day, this actually sometimes was a liability. And the big thing, well, people get really excited about news teams, and people get really excited about Nightmare Archives and Archive. And I do think there's some decks that are really good. It's probably quite fair in this deck, but there's also a lot of decks that I think play them that shouldn't play them. That if it doesn't change how many agendas the runner needs to steal to win, probably not worth it. In this deck, it almost definitely does, considering we're playing all 1-pointers, so that makes sense. 4-0 doesn't sound like a great agenda though. We're going for a 0-2, excuse me. Hey D-Line, no, we haven't missed much. We started actually a bit late. We've only been streaming for like 50 minutes. We just talked about some roguelites. I was looking at the list. Looks like it could be fun. Yeah, Wink, how's it going? We played against it, and it like does seem quite fun. It's hard to tell because we only saw the other side of the table as a runner of how fragile it is, like how on a knife's edge they were. Funny enough, did we catch the one hard-hitting news they have in the list on the chin on like the one turn that we were weak to it? Yeah, we did. Is that frustrating? Nah, it was kind of cool to watch them do their thing. But the tag punishment entirely is this. It's not like Drago with self-growth program and market forces. It's just if you have tags, the agendas get goofy. QPM becomes unassailable, and then freedom information becomes a nonsense amount of numbers. Otherwise, we have fast break. How much influence is this? Turns out it's 3. And then you can use this to draw and install a bunch of cards in a single click. And the crux of the combo here, mind you, everything else is economy, is that we have SanSan City Grid, which makes all our agendas 1 advancement fewer. And then we have Arella Salvatore, a card that on its own is like a pretty honest, pretty good like card. What it does, almost any deck that wants to score agendas could consider it. The idea is that you score an agenda and then you get another install for free and an advancement is actually a lot of click compression. But the only time you really see this card, besides the strange decks that Pat brings sometimes, is that people use these in combo decks. Classically, through the history of Netrunner, there was decks very much like this, but even more accelerated out of Sports Metal back in the day that would use Arella Salvatore and can actually score 7 points of agendas in a single turn. They would just get set up to the point where fast break, and back then Game Changer was also legal, and they would just smash out into a remote server. Because when we score an agenda, we get to install the agenda, get an advancement on it, and if that is a 3-1 agenda or a 2-1 agenda, you can already score out with SanSan City Grid, fire Arella again, draw some cards, and you're kind of off to the races. So you can do a lot of damage with this. Ice Suite, it's kind of what you expect. It's a bit thinner. We're not running Eulas, we're not running... I don't know what else you'd run. The one magnet's a bit interesting to me. I wonder if you can do something better with this influence. But the big thing is how hard is it to deal with SanSan City Grid? And also the big thing here is that people are playing against this deck entirely differently. There are some decks that will just set up. They will maybe consider at some point trying to play around Drago, get down your no free lunches. And they don't really do that much into this matchup, where if you give them one turn where they pop off, they really pop off. And then you still have to trash this for 5, which is great. Meridian, a fave of mine. Yeah, you see Meridian at tournaments and it's kind of a mess. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't. Toxic, does that mean I shouldn't bring out my deck that has News Team, Hangeki, Nightmare Archives, and Meridians? At a tournament, you'll go to time. Hangeki and Meridian are also neg agendas. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I guess now every faction has one besides Wayland. Yeah. Standard is scary. Yo, real talk, as someone who's been playing Startup is scary. Like, I hope that was the point with the startup modernism deck, is I think corp decks in startup, while I don't think they obviously with the size of the card pool have the breadth of options that you do in standard, I do think they have equally amount of teeth. This is a weird deck that's standard only for sure, but I think startup's actually catching up in terms of like having tools that do stuff. That was my game yesterday. Didn't respect the HHN and got completely blown out. Yeah, there's one HHN in here. That's also the sort of thing where if you bring this to an event, say this weekend, you can put 2 or 3 in. I don't know. It also doesn't have Gaslight, and I don't think you really need it. Maybe Gaslighting a fast break is okay, but you'll generally find them. Someday HHN will rotate and we'll dance on Grave. Until then, let's all be careful. I honestly don't know if we'll dance on HHN's grave. I classically have always, well, not always, but largely have been a proponent of HHN. This is the sort of thing that you saw if you played startup, maybe pre-rotation, that runners can just run all over you and there's no recourse for it. And cards like this are kind of important as much as they can on turn 1 and give a huge blowout to runners who are not expecting it. Maybe runners who are not used to the competitive environment and then they hate Netrunner because they ran on turn 1 and that lost them the game. That's true that exists. To some extent, I wish this card had a clause on it that it doesn't fire until the runner has at least an agenda in their score area. Something more interesting like that. But this does, it's kind of holding up NBN in a lot of ways. It's kind of the recourse, right? Like if you do not respect me, there will be a reckoning, right? And I think that's kind of important and good for the game to some extent. We'll probably have something else, but this does rotate relatively soon. In the next rotation, hard-hitting news rotates, and it seems like rotations might be happening a bit sooner if Null Signal's releasing cards a bit sooner, which seems to be the intention, but I do not speak for them. Die HHN, die? No, it's good. We love HHN. What are you talking about? I'm excited to play this deck. It doesn't have a lot of money. That's the one thing that's really weird about it. But ideally, once we're set up and we res a SanSan, which, oh boy, can we do that? We're good to go. I also do think there's other ways you could change the deck. Like there's a chance that you can drop, I don't know, Fly on the Wall. Technically, this is an econ card in the deck, which is really funny. But you could also consider playing whatever the 3/1 was in startup that lets you res something for free from archives or HQ. That probably works too with SanSans. So yeah, figure out what you want to do with it and then live your best life. The absolute biggest noob trap. Yeah, it's really bad that it can do that on turn 1 to some extent, but like, that's important. It's important there's cards like that to some extent. License acquisition. Thank you. Okay, let me catch up on chat. Patrick needs his publicist to watch this channel to protect his reputation. Yeah, he'll be around next week, I reckon. His publicist is been a bit busy. New corp deck. How much influence is fast break? Paste reality plus. NBN reality plus. Ooh, my stomach's not feeling great. I'll be honest with y'all. I ate a lot of couscous really quickly and my stomach feels tumultuous. Who knows how far from the stream we'll get before there's like an awkward 7-minute gap where I run away. Tune in tonight to figure out. Oh man, not feeling great. Been playing mostly startup. Startup is really violent right now. Hey, Gustavo, how's it going? It is. It truly is. There's win conditions in startup and they're like pretty mean. Like rig shooting really works way better in that format than this format, standard versus startup. Beat damage is alive and well. However, both formats can tech to it to an equal extent. Tags are relatively relevant, again, mostly because of rig shooter and damage, but that's usually what it is. All 3-pointers and negative points is sick and 6 points. It doesn't honestly matter, right? Like, I think that's one of the instances where it doesn't matter. If you're on all 3-pointers, barring if you think Mad Dash is in the meta, which it largely is, if there's no Mad Dash in the meta, like they need to steal 3 of the news teams before it actually matters. If you're assuming the runner has to steal 3 agendas, right? I think you want Fly on the Wall for draw into more agendas for Rel instead of more econ. Oh, that's true too. Yeah, just 2 card draw is good enough. Hey, best of luck. It's the sort of thing that you play based on board state and all that. Hard hitting food than couscous. My biggest new trap is Cortex Lock, but HHN is a fair pick. Yeah, I'm glad Cortex Lock doesn't exist anymore for what it's obviously worth. Opening hand, we have a SanSan. This is Sable. We don't have a lot of ice in the deck, so icing up all centrals for 6, 7, 8. It's not going to take us. It's going to take us a while. We definitely want to ice up HQ. Funhouse is generally pretty taxing. No one's really playing Femme Fatale, so this is hard to deal with. So we can always ice this up HQ and then put this in a new remote server. If they trash a turn 1, like we're okay because we have another one. But I don't know how we can do better than this. Not a lot of end the run ice, right? Like Funhouse is our most taxing piece of ice in the deck, and getting at least 1 on a central would be good. Then just something cheap on R&D, but at that point, we probably have to ice up the SanSan as well. Because if they trash the SanSan, that's kind of our whole game plan. Maybe that's not good. No quote, sorry. Yeah, it's a shame for them to be like that for such a long time. It'd be really nice. Again, some of the IDs have flavor text, and it's generally the older ones. I miss Cortex Lock. Cat, how's it going? Not me. Not me, no way. Oops, you just died. Don't like it. I think HHN is the main card I point to when people say that you can play startup decks in standard, because startup doesn't really have a good way to deal with mass tag. That's totally true, Spark. And I think cards like Amaze Amusements and anything that can just like put a flood of tags on, just don't have a good answer in the format into startup. That being said, in standard, it's only Misdirection, which is largely only played by one faction. So I don't think it's actually that big of a deal. You do have things like Deuce's Wild to like more tempo clear tags, but I don't think it's that big of a difference. You have 5, 6 3-pointers. They need 6 points to win. Losing 1 point is brutal. No, Xrn, I don't think it works out like that. They now have to steal 3 of your 5, 6 3-pointers. They had to anyways, if they're stealing to 7. They hit a SanSan. Sorry, I'm catching up. Yeah, Netrunner plays to 7 points. Unless, in limited. Yeah, okay, yeah, in limited, sure. But in limited, everything's different. Cortex Log is 6 as the player who installed SMC every game. Installed Desperado Die. I thought we would get value off of this. We didn't. All right, so they trashed their stuff. That tracks. I do not know what to do here. Like, do we ice up R&D against the, the deluge of value from central runs? We haven't seen an info bounty yet. Without Link, 3 credits to go through this. If you're getting an info bounty back and a free access, it's worth it for sure. But we do need to ice up our SanSan. So we'll draw once. We can do that next turn. We'll just ice this up and click for credit. I don't like putting out spin doctors on their turn and resing them on their turn. If they're running through ice, it's obviously a bit better because it's kind of like an NGO front. Like you get value anyways. Shoveling these 2 cards back in are probably not the worst, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, and networking. Yeah, networking kind of exists. No one plays it. Sights and Ton is about equivalent of Cortex Lock. Yeah, it is, except nobody plays it. It is a card that I actually do run the check in my head. Like, do I die to Sights and Stun? But so few people play Sights and Stun, you almost never have to do the math. You died way more to Sights and Stun in old startup before rotation. HHN doesn't need tech and needs a good economy. That is exactly it. And that's like a, whoa, Blockade Runner. They might be running Spark of Inspiration. I do not know why you run this card unless the card in your hand is bad, which makes me think Spark of Inspiration. Because that's the only time I considered this. This is 2 clicks to draw 3, but then you put a card back. So it's like Mr. Lee, or like the filtering of Class Act, but it's half your turn to commit to drawing 2 cards, which is not great. Now, I guess with Class Act, it gets a bit more interesting, but I'm surprised to see this card. All right, let's go find Ice. Might be playing Turtle? Yeah, you might be. You don't actually see Turtle that often. More often you see like actual breakers, and it's weird. Sable decks don't as often run table for some that for some reason. Amaku, but yeah, it'd be good against Amaku for sure. I think the issue with HHN being combated with good economy is that a major part of why runner decks are pushed towards value runner. Yep, I think that's totally true, but most competitive Netrunner decks, barring traps, are going to push you towards good economy regardless. Besides Sports Battle, which is like, hopefully you think that's fun, I guess. Okay, what do we do? We can put out a second SanSan on top of this. It'll look like a defensive upgrade. Maybe that'll scare them off. And then next turn, though, we'd have to res it to do a fly on the wall. At that point, it's a bit dodgy, but like, I don't know what else we do. We can maybe put all of these down. Now, that's the thing is that they don't know what list we're playing. Like, this looks like Price X. Like, this kind of looks like a nightmare. So we'll see. That's the weirdest part of HHN. It's like, oh, I have anti-tag tech. Oh, wait, I can't clear enough tags, huh? Just have more money? Yeah. If you don't get hard-hitting news, you don't have to worry about hard-hitting news. All right, if we res the IP block here, we go down to 8. A free access on R&D. We have 2 of our 2-pointers in hand. There's 4 2-pointers in the deck. We have 2 of them. I think the access is okay. Otherwise, we spend 2. They spend probably 3. Yeah, that's actually fine because the face check on here is relevant. If it's just an end the run, we probably wouldn't do it. But because they have to spend 3 credits here, we're totally fine. The issue though is like if we res our SanSan and then install Advance, that's all our money. Strong central pressure decks don't need a value-centric economy though. Well, sort of, they do, right? Like, they have to make sure all their runs are pushing them forward. I don't think we have the economy to do this. I think we just click for credits. We might have pushed this out too soon. Blockade Runner sees 4 cards. It's kind of wacky. But that's also the downside to Sable. Like you saw this, and you saw this at Worlds. You saw this on some top tables. I think unfortunately we saw Morgan do this playing Sable decks, and like so much of your deck is based off of running, and then you get punished with hard hitting news into Reality Plus, right? Like you have to run for your deck to do anything. So if we just had hard hitting news and got economy, obviously, right? Like it's a different thing, and you're kind of just forced into that unfortunate interaction. Boomerang, no free lunch. Okay, that's cool. We're fine with that. It's not exactly how we're attacking them. So this is where we're considering install, or sorry, just click for 3. We could actually buy back just for 2 credits. It's obviously not amazing. It's really bad in fact, but we're expecting them with the Waken plan to force us to res the HQ ice. At least if they diversion us through it, we can maybe duck with at least the Arella. But this is really, really ugly. This does not look good. To score out, it's a minimum 8 credits, and then if we go down to 0, and then we have the Waken plan on HQ, I think we just click for credits. I don't think we play this for 2, because probably it'll be worth 5 in a turn. This gives you 3 credits for each card. It doesn't have to be an agenda. It says agenda, but it's worth knowing things like news team count as agendas. So if they steal a bunch of news teams, this can be the biggest economy card in the whole game. I actually don't know if any single card can give you more money than stock buyback, barring Nasex. But Nasex requires a fair bit of effort. Draw 1 to pitch an agenda? No, that might be reasonable, honestly. I just don't know what we're drawing into, right? Like it's all we need right now is money. And the only econ we have in our deck are 2 more hedge funds and then 2 more buybacks, which are not playable. And that would force a shuffle here. So I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure if we want to draw here. All we need to do is get more money. You need a funhouse in front of the server? Yeah, we definitely need something in front of the server so that if they do check it. All right, it's a bravado. We generally have to res here. If they go through it, it protects the QP, which is nice. They can't go through it though. Not last click. Oh, they could with the no free lunch. I'd be surprised if they did. Yeah, there you go. 21 credits in my record stock buyback. We saw some really wild ones at Worlds. So here with the info bounty, I think we just put this on archives and click 2. Like this is exciting. Have you forgotten your Mascom hate? No, but in standard, we are free of its clutches. Yeah, Mascom technically too, right? Rozeki was infinite money. Oh, you're thinking of, for the life of me, and even now that I'm playing it in startup, I can never remember the name of the card with the van that sells things on it. I don't know the name of the card. HQ's the mark. What's the neutral one from System Gateway? Never know the name of it. Infinite economy on a single card. Technically playable. Now this is pod racing VK. Just you wait until the turn where we score our 3 agendas in 1 turn. It'll be nice. Smartphone distributor? That's almost it. Hey, Julian, smartware thing. That's equally almost it. All right, if they hit our quantum, sick. Here we don't want to draw, I think. Well, drawing protects the freedoms, which would be nice. They're going to have to commit to... No, they have a click back. I think we're just going to gain the money. That's all we said that we needed here. Smartware, and I only know this because the local player really wants the playmat. It's a nice playmat. All right, they're going to pay 4. That's expensive. Now, admittedly, they're getting all the value back. Please hit our... Nah, beans. Food truck. That's the one. All right, 9 credits to 10. The problem is if we pop off here, they can just trash it and we don't have punishment for it. Hello to the folks on the stream. Hello. So what do we do here? Like we could, okay, so how much damage could we do? So we could res these for 8. We'd have 2 credits. We can do install, advance, and then we can't really push out anything else this turn. So we probably draw for ice. We have 5 ice and 29, so not great. We have a spin doctor though. Oh, that actually helps. That's a card that we can tempo out a bit. Again, they're scared of what this is, and kind of rightfully so. We might see a diversion here. It depends what the mark is. The HQ mark is the only way they can profitably run our HQ. Shit, HQ mark. We click over credit. We could have actually considered stock buybacking there. Maybe with the HQ mark, we're happy. And the fact that they're spending half their turn drawing, it makes it really hard for them to run and interact with tags. So I'm actually like not scared of this card. Draw hedge buyback. Yeah, we might have. Ooh, Fueno. That helps them deal with this. That's cool. All right, so the question is, can we just go? So this is 6, 7, 8. We do install, advance. Then we get this. We do install, advance. I think we can do it. Blockade Runner is so bad. I don't have high hopes for it. We could also just trash something here, really, if we wanted to. I think maybe. I'm just going to go for it. I don't know if this is actually right. I think we have to ice this up. But I think we dedicated too much ice for centrals. We might have overprotected archives. Just an IP block here would be fine. All right, we're gonna go for it. We have to use this. So we're gonna go. I don't know what the right order is here. Combo, it's not that good. So advance, score. So choose an installed card in HQ. So we can put something there. I guess we'll do the fly. Server 2 gets an advancement. So we can do an advance again, score. So then we can do Arella. I don't think we want to Arella. We could Arella the QPM. That'd only be good if we had a funhouse there. If we had a funhouse there, we would definitely do it. So let's do the fly on the wall to give a tag. We don't have the clicks to capitalize on it. We could have actually done the fly on the wall first, and then they might have popped the no free lunch. That was probably the optimal line in like immediate hindsight, because then they might have popped that because we could have like reached over the table and done something rude. So it's either 2 credits or draw 2 cards. If we draw 2 cards, we can actually get an ice and a relic. Let's do that. Oh, sick. Yeah, we're the best. We're really good at this game. Draw 2? Everyone's saying draw 2. Yeah. I got there. Yeah, you can install an ice. Yeah. You can fast break to draw 2 first and then maybe install ice with that agenda. This is expensive though. It costs us 2 credits. Okay, so we can res this and then we can still res the magnet. Again, archives, we have to ice up everything. This is not the ice we want here. On 3 credits, they could consider face checking it. They have to respect ping to some extent. I'm getting a flashing icon that I'm losing frames. Is this stream okay? Hello? Oh, they're good. The stream looks okay. I can't tell. We'll find out. It says I lost a couple hundred frames. Stream looks fine here. Okay, I lost 148 frames, and then that thing is going to beep at me for the whole thing. Okay, Twitch is okay. Thank you. Only lagged a couple of seconds. That's what it seems like. I think we dropped like maybe 2 seconds. Okay, perfect credits. And now here we do credit, stock buyback, whatever. How do I make it stop flashing? Can I address? I can address it. I can hit it. That's good. Okay, so now they need to like find a breaker. Blockade runner is going to be the rest of their turn. So here we'd probably do credit, stock buyback. We're a bit weak to diversion coming up. Unrelated, but are you wearing a Japanese Dead by Daylight hoodie? Yeah, super Naga. How's it going? I am. I have 2 of these. They're the exact same sweater in 2 different colors. This is the redder one. I have the black one too. It says Dead by Daylight. I'm not actually sure. No, everything else is in English, but the back has like a 90s VHS look to it. Okay, so fun enough, we can put that on there. That's kind of rude, right? How long will we keep them out of the server? Again, they can install breakers. They're going to have to at some point. So we can do credit, install, stock buyback. That's probably fine. This goes into archives eventually. That's actually kind of ideal. We could also not stock buyback, assuming this is going to get sweeter. I think we'll just stock buyback. We're just really weak to diversion here. Probably we shouldn't actually. I think we probably should just get to 2. I think getting to 2 is better. Is Block Runner good? Okay, that's really funny. I was thinking you might be on Spark of Inspiration. Yeah, I think the buyback is asking for a diversion of funds, unfortunately. So I think that's kind of bad. The thing is like diversioning through this, unless the mark is on archives, is not very good for them. But yeah, I think that's a card that we could have just clicked to 2, clicked to 3 even and not installed that. And then next turn we could like pop off with a QPM. So yeah, a bit of a mistake for sure. I thought those hoodies were the same and it's because of the room lighting. That's really funny. All right, the QPM is safe here. This is the bad hit. Gain 2 or draw 2. That's interesting. QPM on 1 and 4, we can make it worse. In terms of the agendas here, gaining 2 credits is like not that important. I think we're going to draw. It's risky though. It's a bit risky to draw here. We have 2 more QPMs in the deck. We have 2 more news teams. We have the 15 minutes is in our score. Yeah, let's just draw. How bad could it be? Yeah, it turns out fine. Yeah, draw. Yeah, I like the draw here. It'd be nice if they hit this. At least it's less likely they hit the freedom. So they paid 4. This is expensive. Like this is a really expensive run. Luckily for them, you know, Wake Implant, Penny Shaver, clicked back, and they have the no free lens. They also have the Fencer Fueno if they wanted to use it. There's not much that they can use it for. Shit. Really? Come on. What? 1 and 6 there. It feels terrible. We lose on a single axis now. There's one more freedom and then one tomorrow's headline. So this might be over very, very quickly. They're going to tag me. I think with stealing 2 of these, you actually can go tag me against this list. That's also the bad thing is like, we only have 1 tag punishment card in the list besides the QPMs. And I think they're going to tag me. I don't know what they're going to name here. Like event doesn't really work with the deck. Well, besides a fast break. All right, fast break. Yeah, we just lost the fast break. That's okay. They got some money off of it, but they have 3 clicks here. I like embezzle a lot. Mutual favor. We'll see what they pull down. It's a paperclip. Honk, how's it going? 1 and 6? Yeah, for sure. They're going total tag me. And again, we can lose right here on this axis if we wanted to. The news teams are also now blank if they go tag me. Stealing 2 of these is like, yeah, the best you can ask for. And they're going to see a lot of cards there. Ooh, I think we lose. Oh, they trashed the SanSan with Flents or Fleno credits. That's nice. We can lose on this axis if we want to. We're holding on. We're holding on. It's not going to be easy to hold on, though. We have no way to fight back. We could consider trashing the info bounty. I don't think it's worth it. Now, basically, this is not a free run because we can draw 2, gain 2. How many cards did they see? They saw 4 cards. Okay, so we know the next part of R&D is safe for a while, and we can always, like, attack with Spin Doctor. Yikes. This is not a good spot to be in. We can still win. We just need the fast break. Yeah, we have to get that back. Yeah, the fast break is a way out. We can get a lot of points. It just has to be really good. You have 3 more tag punishment. Yeah, we have 2 more QPMs and then 1 more freedom. But we have to shuffle at some point, which is scary because their Wake and Blind's going to get big. Q in the comeback theme. Oh, that's not a good draw here. Okay, so we have to figure out what to do. We can put Spin Doctor. We can draw 2. Now that opens, that like reseals R&D. In terms of ice that we can draw that actually stops this, nothing. Literally nothing. If they go tag me, we can't keep them out. That's one of the benefits of Endless Eula, right? Or technically the Magnet, is that it actually keeps them out regardless of what they do. Now, admittedly, those decks, like the other standard Reality Plus decks, like the Drago Prison ones, if you're at the spot, they market forces you and push you out of the game. So like even IP block is good enough, let alone bounce to hand. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sad I missed. No, I'm this is fine. This is good. So Turnpike does sort of something. Now we just went through 3 cards, so the top of R&D is unknown. They know that we have a Funhouse. I think they know we have a Turnpike too. This shouldn't do anything in the matchup. We can do a single net damage. Maybe they don't respect that. I don't know. We can put the QPM in here. It's kind of safer in HQ to some extent because then we don't actually have to score it out because they're probably going to run HQ. But yellow, I think yellow is fine. Yeah, I think yellow is actually quite good. Now, immediately when they run through this, we can draw 2, which is a bit risky. The question is, where do we put our pressure? I think we actually want to make HQ harder to run because they only run R&D once while they run HQ a heck of a lot to charge their thing. Let's draw once. That's cursed. So we can just ice this up and discard that and then Spin Doctor it back in. They might not run Archive for a minute, but like not a good agenda right here, I don't think. Turnpike on R&D so you can get draws. I think we want to do Turnpike on HQ because they're not going to run R&D every turn because it's expensive, but they're going to run HQ consistently just to charge up the Wake and Blend. Then they're going to go R&D, right? So that's the only way we can slow them down. You can FA to the headline. I can, but we can't really hold it in hand. It's way too risky to hold it in hand because they win. I don't know. I think we have to just get the fast break back in. Maybe this back in as well. Just keep it so you can score next turns. They don't have multi on HQ. They probably do. Like they might have a Dawkins. They don't have it now. Maybe we should hold it, especially because they're drawing with Blockade Runner. That's half their turn. Maybe we could have held it. I don't know. I wasn't feeling brave. I thought they were just going to hit HQ 4 times and run R&D, which I think is the right play. Like, I don't think they have to draw for much, right? They might not know the list, but again, this ice can't keep them out. There's no ice in the deck anymore that keeps them out. Install the QPM. It's cheaper here. As soon as we put it here, we actually have to spend 2 credits on it and 2 clicks. If they hit it here, they just get it. Now, admittedly, that's a bit different with Arella, but like, say we top deck an agenda and we have this in the remote server, we have to deal with that before pushing the QPM, which is not good, right? All right, they can see 2 here. We could consider shuffling back Spin Doctor, but we'd also shuffle back 1 agenda. All right, they're not going to take that. Yeah, that makes sense. Gain 2 or draw 2. They have 1 click left. Who's the next card? Oh, we drew the news team that they accessed. It was literally the next card. They would have got the QPM. Oh man, I hate it. Oh boy, I hate it. Oh, that's not good. That's so bad. They would have got it. Okay, well, now we probably push. I don't even think we pushed on the remote. Yeah, that was weird. We drew the card that they were accessing, right? Can you do that? When the runner accesses it, they must take 2 tanks. So it's technically still on top of R&D, so you can technically still just get it, right? Okay, so we have 1 fast break in 14. I think we can put the funhouse in front of R&D and hope that they're just scared of it. They did take their penny shaver though, so like I don't know what they're going to be scared of. Something like that. And again, if we top deck an agenda, we have to put it, or if we draw it with our like funhouse draw or with our tag draw, we have to just draw it. So I don't want to put the QPM in here. Ever use a snare in R+? No, do you draw the snare? But they can still trash it, right? Wait, how does it work? I honestly have no idea how it works. Ches is coming down. That helps a lot. So I'll res the turnpike here. 7 credits is enough. They might diversion us in the near future. Here, they're just going to take a tag. And I don't think we draw. You draw the snare. The runner's no longer accessing and can't trash. I had no idea that's how that works. Oh, that's kind of incredible. Okay, so we have to either draw 2 or gain 2. So if we draw 2, we can draw into unknowns. I think we have to just get agendas in hand and hope. Okay, well, there's a 1 in 7. We've never been punished by this before. And that's a good agenda to get in the remote server. One in 7. Okay. Can't complain. I had no idea that worked like that. That's actually really wild. Input bounty to gain 2. We could end up trashing some of these. I don't think we really need to. None of them are that important. Blockade runner might make them more powerful if we trash it. There's an embezzle. Here calling agenda is actually kind of sick. Oh, you can't. So I don't know what they call here. This can't be good. The amount of tags doesn't matter, so we don't actually have to do this. But yeah, I don't know what they're calling here because you can't call agenda, right? The ice operation or upgrade, so were they access them a virus? I don't think the only thing they might know in their hand is a funhouse, which they're assuming is this ice here. Then they have to avoid the snare that's now on HQ when they're like doing their deep dive turn. They revealed the QPM and a funhouse. They named operation again. We don't have any operation punishment. Maybe they want to trash a fast break, but they also know now that we have a QPM. That did give them a Waken Plan charge. It also avoided them hitting the QPM, which is kind of cute. But yeah, you can't embezzle agendas. The runner has already taken the damage and tag from the snare. Maybe they think you're in biotic. I think they assume that we're in the deck list the week. Like they saw the fast break, right? I think trashing the fast break is really important. Here they see 3 cards. We probably lose. We could always like not spin doctor back in the agenda and archives. I think that might be fair. Chesva for 3. So we're going to use this and we're not going to shuffle the agenda back in. We'll just do fast break. And then what could possibly be good? I guess the buyback, but I don't think we need massive amount of money. It'd be the spin doctor if anything. Seeing 3 cards here, it's very unlikely we don't lose. Okay. A virus. Oh, wow. We got away with it. Unfortunately, we're not drawing agendas, though. All right, let's see what we can do here. Server 2. Okay. Advance, score. We'll do post-truth to draw 2. Or draw 1. Oh, wait. Is that good enough? No, I don't think so. Choose a card to install. So we have 1 click left. I think we do this. Whatever. So this says gain X credits, so it'd be free. Draw up to 4 cards, install up to 4 cards in or protecting a single remote server. So it's good next turn. Maybe we actually shouldn't have committed to this. So we're going to need some amount of credits. If we just fast broke, we would only have no clicks left. So there's no agenda that we can score out. That's a bummer. So advancing this again is okay. It makes us pretty weak to diversion, so maybe we don't do that. And this is the trashable, I guess. Yeah, that's a mixed bag. Archives mark would be bad because they'll probably end up checking it. And they know the top of R&D isn't it, so I think they do end up checking archives this turn, maybe? But if we can survive one more turn, like we just have to do advance and well, we do advance and then we draw and then we look at our hand and then we fast break. Like I don't know how many points we can score in a turn. A couple? I think we're going to be gated by credits though. Oh, wait, actually this is free. Probably not. I think if they have diversion here, it's pretty okay for them. We drew 2 cards. They saw, I think, 3. And they trashed 1. So the top of R&D is unknown, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Woof. Should it advance the QPM to 2? Yeah, maybe. I think it makes us worse into diversion to some extent. Maybe not entirely. Yeah, it'd be faster if we advance this, right? Because then we could just like score and then go straight to fast break. Maybe you're right, yeah. Because no matter what, we have to spend our next turn advancing this, and that's probably more important than the credit. Yeah, I think you're right. We probably should have just advanced that. But here we're going to get 2 more credits. We could consider card drawing. It's a bit risky. I don't think we need to card draw. I don't think we need to card draw. Oh, it's safer here than in R&D. Yeah, whatever. Oh, that's sick. Man, we could have left those on top of R&D. That would have been so much better. We're always stronger at QPMs. You can also just fast break, click 1 and give up the QPM on the server. Yeah, we can. I don't think it's worth it though. I think a credit is worth 3-1, especially now since we've advanced it. Yeah, I wish we didn't draw there, but what do we know? Oh, excuse me. That's good. We'll take that. Not losing this turn would be a miracle. It'd be kind of nice. It's super unlikely that we don't lose. At least we know where 2 points are. This is 3 credits. They see 2. Ooh, we might have a game of Netrunner here. They have a click left though. Okay. If they hit this QPM, we have a good spot. I was worried they're going to check archives, but I don't think they have the credits to sustain it. Imagine them hitting this this QPM. We also know that we're going to draw 4 and we're going to see, we're going to see actually a couple new cards. We know the top 2 are in agendas. We're mandatory one of them. Fire all. Yeah, they can just take tags. They're on 19. We have to find the freedom information to have like a good play. If we find the freedom information off the top, we're actually in a good spot. All right, let's go. Advance, score, choose, install a card. Oh, that's really ugly, actually. That's really ugly. Because we can't do the QPM. So we just have to basically fast break and find we have to find the freedom of information, right? I think that's our only way out. QPM naked? It's a possibility. It has to be in the server though. Oh, it doesn't have to be in server. Oh, I thought it had to be in the server. That's on me. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's sick. So now we lose. It wouldn't have changed anything, but I think we still lose here, right? You may draw 1 card. Oh no, we have 1 draw. We have a 1 in 4 finding the freedom of information. Score. We do the post-truth to draw. Yeah? What? Are you serious? Oh my, we had to believe in ourselves. Whoa, GG. Whoa. Didn't think that would happen. Okay, it was in there. It was in there. I forgot we had 1 good card draw left. This thing does text. It does text good. I think taking all the tags was totally right. Once you had 2 of the free FOI. There's an alternate universe. Yeah, 7 points are score area. Or 7 agendas, excuse me, 8 points. Where I pinhole SanSan. I think you need to. But I have more SanSans, and they come down on the what's it called? So it's tricky. Then it becomes about cash. There was a 3-2 in archives, by the way. Never tell your opponent this. Never tell your opponent this. Hey, Kevin, haven't been on the stream in a bit, and as soon as I join, I see this play. Yeah, that was wild. How's it going? Hey, Lot again. How's it going? Sick. Yeah, that was great. That's really good. Yeah. I was lucky you... I was debating whether you threw QPMs in there. Yeah, it's tricky. I drew up through all the QPMs. They were all in HQ over a couple of turns. You're right. I think they're totally right to respect them in archives. But I don't think I would throw them out in archives because they don't run them. Like, we were so behind on points, we needed them to find them. I think I was lucky you didn't roll an archives mark in a minute. I think this game was in the bag a while ago if you scored that tomorrow's headline. It was not so much scored the tomorrow's headline as held the tomorrow's headline in HQ. And that turn, they didn't pressure HQ. And I do think that might be a bit results oriented because I think the right play that turn was them to run HQ 3 times and lock R&D, and they didn't do it because they blockade runnered, unfortunately. But I think if we had a 1 in 5 on HQ, we could have lost right there, right that turn. And if we scored out the headline, it actually wouldn't have done that much, right? Like, we still had to go pretty deep in our deck to get to the game point. So I'm not sure. Obviously, we didn't need the miracle at the end, but I'm not sure it's actually correct. Yeah, for sure. So you're saying block run contributed to your win? I think so. I just think there's no card in the game currently that takes 2 clicks. Like, that's half your turn. Like, it's such a giant iceberg. You have to maneuver the whole ship around. Like, I have to spend my whole turn. Like, rogue trading is the next one, but like, that's 6 credits. That's a lot of credits. I don't know. This is 2 clicks for 2 cards. It's filtered, but that's already something criminals are doing consistently with either Paragon or Class Act. So it's not even doing anything new. If this was draw 4 cards for 2 clicks, maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that. Like, you know, you could play Nuka, right? You could play Nuka, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Blockade Runner is it's a really tricky thing. If there were more things I cared about, it all shuffles into your stack. I was thinking like it's Mr. Lee where it puts it on the bottom of your stack. So like, not only is that terrible to play in person, that you have to shuffle every turn, but it undoes your class act. Like, it's honestly a non-bow in a lot of way. I don't like Blockade Runner. Yeah, Kevin, I don't even think Silent Fox likes Blockade Runner. It's kind of nonsense. I thought I'd put it on the bottom, and then it's like, you know, future design space out of 10, window out of 10 or whatever. Yeah, it's unclear why they didn't just lock R&D. What were they digging for? They did lock a lot of R&D, right? Like, I think they saw about 10 or 9 cards off of R&D and saw no agendas. Hey, cheers, you too. They did lock R&D. I think that turn they should have locked R&D. I'm not sure if it would have paid out, but like, I do think all they do, because running HQ was literally free until the turnpike showed up. It was free. You gotta at least play 1 game with a bad card to verify it's indeed a bad card. Oh, and that's a big thing. It's like, I'm not saying that like Silent Fox is messing up by playing Blockade Runner. I'm glad that they're playing Blockade Runner so that we can learn about it and talk about it, right? I think competitively it's under curve based off of all the other options you have. But like, it's not. It's more like, oh yeah, let's look at it. It's kind of weird. And I think that's something we need to do a bit more on the channel, is play stuff that we don't think is good to figure out what we can get out of it. And sometimes it's just like spending 2 clicks to draw 2 cards is not very good, but hey, it's cool that I can like say a, you know, like a pretty genuinely okay idea and then undermine it immediately at the end of the same sentence. We'll play them at some point. We're gonna do one more. This deck's weird. It's weird. That was a really strange game. We were definitely on the back foot when they stole our tag punishment and then like realized it very adeptly and was like, okay, I'll float tags. It's fine. We have no other punishment. It has to be a Smurf, right? All right, opening fast break. I love it. I'm going to say opening hard-hitting news. Opening fast break is obviously not good. Opening hard-hitting news, that's like something you can consider. The thing though is on turn 1, we will present 0 threats. We will generate 0 economy. And so them getting hard-hitting news would be like them messing up massively. I'm assuming with this name, and I don't recognize the name, it's probably Smurf. So we're probably going to see someone playing at a higher level of play. So I don't think they're just going to like waltz into an HHN on turn 1. Otherwise, what can we do? Can we install Advanced Advance a post-truth? It's not very good. I think we mulligan for 1 ice. So you will say we'll see more Isowak? The problem with Isowak is I don't even like playing Isowak. I think if anything, we'll see Trap Isowak, but like traps on JNet. Oh man, 2 of these. The blood in the water of NBN is terrifying. All right. Don't know how much money she can make. We might be able to do Turnpike, Hedge Fund, SanSan. Obviously, Centrals are wide open. We're pretty okay. We can put that on Centrals. We can put this on HQ. Bluff out of 10. That's cool. Doesn't do anything. It's cool. Moshing to start. Steel Skin, Hippo, Black Orchestra, drawing 300 cards. 8 credits, good start. Yeah, there's no remodeling clause. I'm surprised to see that. I don't think the original did. Like the original FFG 2012 printing. Because the text was different on the FFG 2012 printing. That's a lot of... You can see all the trigger stack there. Yet another emoji meme name? Yeah. Well, what do you mean yet another? Did we see one before? Yeah, I get big Smurf alert here. That's fine though. I think it's the pigeon meme. Oh, like that anime meme? Like pointing a butterfly meme? I don't know where it's from. Pinhole. Paladin. SanSan. All right, Funhouse on server 1 and we just let R&D ride, right? So what are we drawing into? An agenda? Economy? Yeah, we look like Drago. I need an emoji Smurf. It's so easy. You just open up that keyboard and you face roll, right? There's the one that's always has been meme I've seen a lot. It's the meme I'm thinking of. It's like a pretty stale meme, but like not in a bad way. Like in a way that I would enjoy it if I saw it. But you know what I mean? The one of the guy pointing at the book and then at the butterfly or something. Okay, what are we doing here? I think I remember at least one game where I used SanSan on HQ to bluff a CBS. It wasn't a very good bluff. No, Stoppable. How's it going? That's totally it. You can put this on central servers and it looks like a defensive upgrade. It's sick. Like it's nice that it allows you that freedom. There's almost no reason not to have that freedom of information. Crypto anarchist. Okay, what are we doing? So they have Liberated down. They have breakers, but generally most of our ice you don't use your breakers for. Like almost none of the ice besides Magnet do you actually want to use your breakers. We can like jam out that. That's pretty bad. Putting this behind a funhouse is good. Biggest issue here is credits. This might be interesting to them. This kind of looks like a Lacosta. It's the anime guy pointing at a butterfly asking if this is a pigeon. I think that's the one, yeah. Jam QPM. Yep. I think that's the plan. If they go through it, it's fine. Otherwise, we score this out for 2 credits. We want the Arella for sure. This hand is pretty bad. And they're going to have to goof really bad for these to be relevant in the next couple of turns. If you're in need of stale meme emoji, I highly recommend this one. That one's frightening. Pinhole. Let's see which one they hit. They hit the QPM. All right, that gives you a read that this isn't the Reality Plus prison deck you think it might be. And there's always that nice little like, whoa, that's going to happen for the next couple weeks. Sand Bluff does crazy miss top-notch play. You do have to watch out the region thing. But yeah, it's good. All right, they're pretty sure this is a funhouse, so they're going to force us to spend 5. That's totally fair. Imagine if they were tagged and pinholing the QPM. Oh man, you're right. That works, right? Yeah, they access it. That'd be pretty fire. Speaking about dead memes, I'll just say fire. It's fine. All right, Funhouse is going to end the run. We're on 7 credits. They have 1 click left, so they generally don't want to face check into the Turnpike. They'll end up spending like 6 credits. They access a card though with Hoshiko, so they will flip. So they're going to get 2 credits and a link. So make that now 17. Oh, it's always on top when that happens. What's with that? So here, I'm not 100% sure what to do. We can advance the QPM once to like kind of, you know, push it forward. It's very hard for us to lose this. I don't think they're going to be playing anything that kind of deals with the funhouse interaction, barring Hush. I'd be surprised to see, but there's no way that this isn't safe besides the Hush. So I think we work on pushing it slightly while also pushing out the SanSan. Ideally, we don't triple advance this. We double advance this and then score it with the SanSan. I think that would be sick. That's all we got. Yeah, we're just gonna slow roll it. Hunting Grounds would be like the most other likely card, but Hunting Grounds hasn't really been around in any meta for a very long time. And I even think in like a heavy Reality Plus meta, there's better cards for Hoshiko to be playing than QPM. So no free lunch. Oh shit, yeah, no free lunch does it. Actually, yeah, no free lunch is the one way we'd lose it. I should have seen that one coming. Dirty Laundry, Hippo, Liberated. Hippoing this would be very important for them. We can always put a second ice in front of it. Paladin's installing something. It's a twinning. That's frightening. That's the one. I don't honestly know, Extern. You can try it. Funhouse? Sick. Okay, so they're going to hippo this next turn. So we have to move now, if at all. This sucks. I think if they're hippoing this, we probably don't do the SanSan. But like right now, I feel massively underpowered. Like look at this hand. And then tell me what the plays we're making are. I don't know what the plays we're making are. Like economy waiting room. At least if they hippo this, we'll get 2 credits or 2 cards, I guess. Gachapon, that could be anything. It could be a no. Wow, it could be a no one home. We also see 10 influence, so they're definitely playing like a super competitive list. The no one home is a bit of a surprise, but obviously a good card. It's a bit more flexible. They're pulling it down here. We don't actually care about this one. Scorpion QPM Jan the news team. It's what we're gonna do. It's just like it's not very good. It does protect our SanSan in the mildest way. NOH over NFL, for what it's worth, you're seeing more and more of the good stuff Anarch decks. Just only play Pinhole and not even play No Free Lunch. So this is probably like, you know, same amount of influence and also gives you some teeth against net damage. But yeah, actually fewer of the Anarch decks are actually playing No Free Lunch. You want to see 2 here? 15 minutes. Cool. Headline, they have a tag here. No One Home actually does fire here if they wanted to. So they're going to pay 0 credits probably to get rid of the tag, let's be honest. That's really funny. This is also, it's worth noting, this only happens on the first tag you take a turn. So if they ever like go through a fun house and steal tomorrow's headline, they can only deal with one of them. All right, well, hey, we have money at least. Hey, Parallel, how's it going? What? What? Janet, what? Avoids all 2. Huh? How? That's a lot of numbers. Wild. Super wild. Yeah, I can't think of more. Damn, okay. That's good. So here I don't think we do anything. I think we just credit stock buyback. All right, you also now the player's been playing for a long time, so that puts him deeper in the Smurf camp. Hey Spark, you may have mentioned this before, but why don't you allow sub to your Twitch? So the reason why is because I co-stream. So while I do generally hit the qualifications to do like affiliate stuff or partner stuff, I'm not actually sure what the term is on Twitch. One of the big rules is that you cannot stream simulcast onto 2 multiple platforms. So if I wanted to have subs and emotes and all that fun stuff on Twitch, I would have to not stream on YouTube. And I don't want to do that. The communities are actually pretty well, not divided because we try to bring them together, but restream, but like, I don't know, it doesn't feel good. So I just don't do that for that reason. I'd love to be able to, because it's fun. And I know a lot of people want to support the channel. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense. If Twitch ever changes their terms, they've been kind of getting heat for some of them. Maybe that'll change. Since when does JNet support custom backgrounds? It has forever. It has for a really long time. You can also just like inject a background using whatever the things that people use to change the stylings. Like my stylings are slightly different from JNet as well, and that's using a thing. I heard that Twitch may potentially change that in the near future. Yeah, it's been a conversation because YouTube has become a bigger platform that they're actually like losing people who want to move to YouTube. So they're probably going to, you know, at some point give and allow some sort of freedom. I know some people that do like some days on Twitch, some days on YouTube that are streaming. Sorry, I should probably do a return. We have 13 credits. I think we can just fly. I don't think they've been respecting our SanSan, and I don't think we've been respecting our SanSan. This is really bad without Arella, but like, what isn't, you know? Server 1. Okay, we're just gonna get pinholed, but advance score. We don't have Arella, so this is pretty bad. Look who shows up right on time. When Code Marvelous uses the stream, he had a bunch of custom backgrounds. Yeah, a lot of folks do. Sometimes you get like replays from people and you see their backgrounds are pretty wild. I'm a big fan of the Root playmat. I actually bought the Root playmat when it was going out of stock just because I played so much Netrunner on the Root playmat. And I find most of the other backgrounds on JNet to be a bit loud and distracting. This one, for some reason, is like all the subtle colors. I think it's pretty easy to parse the difference between the board. But some of the ones I've seen, like that I've done on streams before, like to me don't work well. That makes sense. I like watching on YouTube, but I also get a Prime sub. Yeah, hey, I appreciate it, Spark. It's very kind. Gain 2 or draw 2? Let's draw 2. I appreciate that you want to help support. We have Patreon for that. Also on YouTube, you can like do a super like or stuff. There's other ways to support the channel financially if you really want to do that. Give us that sub button. I want emotes though. Like I want channel points. There's like so many cool community things you can do. It's not so much about like give me your 1/3 of your Bezos subscription or whatever. There's other really cool stuff you can do on Twitch that YouTube just doesn't do, which is a bummer. Every single FOI? Yeah, don't worry. They're gonna take 4 tags. I'm kidding. They have 18 creds. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, don't worry. We got him. Oh, why did we play a second game with this? We could have walked away with such a good win. And instead, this is what's gonna be happening. This is the thing. I don't know how this deck is going to get people, but I feel like if it just draws bad and the fact that obviously we're not playing it optimally, we don't know. We don't have the reps in it. I feel like there's going to be matchups like this and we probably just should be just jamming into it and being like, oh, at some point it's going to catch up to you and we're going to get credits. We probably should have spent Dr. Tier to get rid of these. There's no way they run through a turnpike with endurance. Yeah, let me undo that. What is this? A SanSan. Yeah. In one life, we'll be able to afford that. Bye. Why is she so rich? She's just a kid? Fermenter's hell of a thing. I've had the freelancer background since forever. It's the best one. Freelancer's not bad. It's pretty good. Good old FFG art. It gives you the, you know, those good old warm feelings. I don't know how many they've added since. I haven't changed it in a while. The day that they allowed you to swap it, it used to be that when you played, they used to have your programs up at the top and then hardware in the middle, resources at the bottom, which like, what? And then they're like, you can flip it so it looks like a Netrunner game. And then some people were pretty, I think, resistant to that change. Not me, the trendsetter. No, I think that was actually a huge JNet change for the best. I got my background set to the blood in the water. Yo, Izzy, I know that, and I've heard other people say that too. I know other people have gone on their way to make the blood in the water playmat their background on JNet. I've heard that before. This sucks that we have to shuffle these back. 17 credits plus 8 on Fermenter. She's pretty rich. This is like the good stuff competitive Hashiko. This is probably one of the best decks in the format. And Fermenter is it's holding up economy in the format pretty good. All right, we can score this. Give them a tag as we march slower and slower towards our victory. Advance, 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 score. 1 credit, 1 point agenda. That's how they should be. Mavericks is really good. I really don't like that I said it like that. I've never said it like that. Piox the replaymat forever. Yeah, you know it's good. You know it's good. It's really good. I miss the Octagon background. Shishu, I have a folder somewhere that just has all the Octagon sound effects. And every once in a while, on a really rainy day, I'll pour myself a cup of coffee and we'll listen to them. Feels real good. You hit F5, you hit F7, you start running different servers. You feel old. But you realize it's the time we spent together. Mad Dash for the twinning. It's wild. It works. 5 agenda points. No Arella res? That's a SanSan. You wish, right? So do I. Yeah, it's a SanSan. We can't afford it. They trashed Arella. I still have the breaking news sound effect as my text alert. Oh, that's terrifying. I would be scared of my phone. Titan Transnational Skyline mat is pretty sick. Oh, that's the Kevin Tame one. Yeah, that one's good too. I don't actually have that playmat. I like it. It's actually based off of City Skyline, right? I think it's Detroit-esque. I love the artist playmat. That one's a good one too. There's not a lot of bad playmats, you know. There are 5 agenda points. R&D is open, right? Don't worry, we'll hard hitting news them. I don't understand how we hard hitting news people. I don't. Fast break, actually. Getting money and fast breaking next turn, maybe we can win. Maybe we should have fast broken that turn. How much money do we have? The problem is like we didn't have like, this is actually free. That's obviously nice. But then we need SanSan plus credits. We probably should have gone for it. I just don't think we can score out 4 points without freedom information. Yeah, probably should have gone for it. I think our outs are so narrow, we might as well. They haven't hit a single news team, which actually would have an impact on the game. And the twinning's still loaded. Like they're being pretty cognizant about how they use it. And I don't know if they're gonna run HQ and empty HQ because they could. That was probably a mistake getting 3 cards out of there. Now, if they don't run this turn, I think we have something cute here. Someone in our meta has a revised chord Red Herrings playmat. It's so pretty. Oh, that's probably ordered directly from who drew that? Doyle, I think. I think it's Doyle. I got my partner for a while ago. The QPM on a playmat, full size with the stitched edgings from Inked Gaming. It's really good. Yeah, direct from the artist. Yeah, I think Doyle has a. I think it's Doyle has a, what's it called, page. All right, so unfortunately, if we res the SanSan and then hit the post-truth, we have no more money. Thinking. We don't have the rel in there either. Like, that's the issue, is like, we're just short credits. So I think we just do credit, stock buyback, and hold. And next turn we can do something. The Herrings is Liga. Oh, so they're both Liga. Okay, cool. QPM is Liga too. That makes sense. That does make sense. It kind of looks like the Adam Doyle sort of like natural, colorful animal space. But yeah, the revised Red Herrings is like, I don't even remember what the original Red Herrings looks like. The revised Red Herrings is really good. QPM used to be our friend. Ooh, okay, we survived this turn. We have a chance. I think you need to click the 15 minutes back in. Definitely should have that turn. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. It's all the way out here. But yeah, we definitely should have clicked that back in. Especially because this turn we're going to try and combo off. Admittedly, they saw the top 3 cards, so it's a bit of a soft shuffle. I think they saw 3 cards, so maybe that would be bad. But you're right, we're taking some risks here. Not shuffling this back in. We'll see. I really wish the beach party art was out there. Oh yeah, it's not. There's some really, really good FFG arts that like never moved on to do anything cool with them. It's most of the FFG arts, unfortunately. The original Red Herrings art is a dog? Like, actually? No. What? Back in the day, I've just released a really cool Android setting guide / art book. I love a playmat based on the artwork in it. Yeah, I have that book. It's on that shelf over there. If we're thinking of the same one. Moshing, twinning, installing MK Ultra. Yeah, Worlds and Android. I have that one. Oh, wow. Okay, we actually have a chance of winning here. Yeah, I've never read through the whole book, which is unfortunate. I should have. So we'll res this. So we just do advanced score. Okay, we're on 3 points. Now we're on 4 points. We actually could win. Draw card for sure. All right, so we need to hit an Arella with this to have any chance. All of them. We didn't hit an Arella. It's okay. We can hit a PTD. I don't think we can do it now. We had to hit an Arella there 100% of the time. Because now we can install as many cards as we want in the remote server. So, yikes. So how many more 1-pointers do we have in the list? We only have the post-truth dividend. So a dog mean bad low tier. Okay, right. So we can install this. We can advance and that's it. Can you play a second fast break here? We can, but then we don't get any clicks back. So we can't actually do anything, right? Like we can definitely do it. It just doesn't do anything. It just draws like 6 cards, gains 2 credits, and then that's it. If we hit an Arella with this fast break, what happens? I think we're going to find out together. Fast break is 1 server, right? Single remote server, yeah. Get rid of the 15 minutes instead. It takes a click, so our turn would be over. Deck is cool, but such a glass cannon feels bad when you can't find a rally. Yeah, Jester, that's what we're finding out. Wait, oh, whoops. We obviously did not want to do that with the click. Server. There, okay. So here we can hit the fast break. If we find an Arella, we still can't score this out. So yeah, no, we're done. Give yourself a click back, yeah. Well, and 2 credits too. But yeah, that's it. We lose. Why don't you want to put ice on R&D? Doesn't matter. They have a boat with 7 counters and all the breakers. Like it doesn't matter. There's no ice that's going to keep them out. They're going to see like 3 cards off R&D. No matter what we do, we lose this turn, right? Like they see 3 from HQ, considering we drew 7 and we're not filtering. So like maybe we could fast break and find a spin doctor. I think that's the best play we have. Leonard, how are we doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'm finding it. I'm looking for an Arella. Do you have one? But we're Funny enough, actually, we could have installed the agendas first and then shuffled them away. I think that actually would be better. We lose the single access anyways, though. So I think right now we're like rearranging the deck chairs or whatever. But we could always... we could have always installed this, then over-installed this, and then sold it. Also, for what it's worth, the QPM would be safer behind a funhouse than it would be an HQ. But hey, we have a PTD in there. So it doesn't really matter. We're going to be discarding cards anyways. So hopefully they hit a new Steam first. All I got is 2 unfinished Scarlet Keys runs. 2 unfinished? As in you're working on them, or like they're never going to be finished? You're going to discard them anyways? Yeah, but we could have carved our entire hand, right? Like we also could have got rid of the fly on the wall. We could have done more. But yeah, we will discard it. Stargate. We have a Spin Doctor on the table. So like maybe okay. Arella stock buyback funhouse. Okay, well we found the Arella. So that's good. Still don't know how we win. I'm working on 4P with the boys and 2P with the wife. Sick. Okay. We just finished I finished my 3rd Scarlet Keys this Monday. I did a 2-handed myself solo. Never done that before. I finished a 2-player with my partner. And then we just finished a 4-player with my team of friends we've been playing since like core set every week. And yeah, man, I still want to do the stream where we just talk about Scarlet Keys because there's so much to talk about. And I feel like there's so many points that I haven't heard other people talking about that it's like clearly getting a mixed opinion, the whole thing. And I'm super negative about the rules parts of the game. The rules parts of the game are terrible. They're really bad. 33 credits. What a deck. Just you wait until we play our next stock buyback. All right, so they have to hit the QPM and not the fly on the wall. Can they see all of them? They can see 3. Oh, wait, QPM wins. I forgot. They're not tagged. Never mind. Ignore that. Good game. I had no outs. We had nothing there. With no Arella, no game plan. I think it's that simple. Maybe we should be jamming a bit more. I had no outs there. Yeah. You mind telling us your name? No, I don't mind. Oh, I could just watch the stream. Yeah. Choose a program to host. Oh, sick. Yeah. Just got into this game and got a core set in the mail. How often are the sets from Null Signal? Firstly, Templar, how's it going? That's awesome. How often are the sets? Hard to tell. Last year we got basically 1 full set. But Null Signal, I think, wants to speed up that stuff. It's obviously a bit hard. There's been new management of sorts, like new lead game designer a couple years back, and there's been kind of a shift and stuff. The way I lose is running archives? Maybe. Yeah, that's true. We have to respect the fact that they're scared of the news teams. That's true. That being said, if they hit the freedom first, they win. But we'll shuffle them back in. Yeah. I think if you know where 2 Arellas are, you just do nothing. Like, literally, if they know where 2 Arellas are, there's nothing they have to do. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I needed 1 on the first fast break. Might have been able to close the game out if we got an Arella on the first fast break, for what it's worth. Gotta say, as a major rules guy, on the Mythos Buster server, by the way, the rules looseness in TSK leaves much to be desired. It is so frustrating. The rules in TSK are so bad. And Mythos Busters, I don't actually listen to them. I only started listening to them recently, and they did an episode and they brought up like, oh, by the way, how does this ruling work with like the main mechanic and Scarlet Keys? And the ending after they like talked about it for 25 minutes was like, I don't know. Which seems like such a problem when it's like the overbearing new mechanic that kind of touches all parts of the whole thing. How does it work with like other core set cards? And the responses are like, we're not actually sure. That's so frustrating. I think there's parts of the game that just don't function if you read the rules. Like they strictly don't function. If you got on FB, do you have it? Looked like you could have. I think I need to shuffle my 50 minutes early to boost this. Yeah, I messed up on the 15 minute shuffle for sure. I think I could maybe get it. Concealed is a mess. Concealed is a real big mess. But as a major proponent of Weird MJ's Best MJ, I'm really impressed with Audacity, the design in TSK with the player cards are ace, but anywho, this is still a Netrunner stream. Yeah, no, Leonard, it's fine. It becomes a Scarlet Key stream. I don't mind at all. But yeah, I do think that player cards are a huge success. I think the rest of the campaign I have mixed opinions on, and most of it's just like rules stuff. And like the structure of the thing has some problems, I think, for a lot of play groups based off of the way that they're used to play the game. Feels like the other FA NBN decks that kind of just got stuck on the last few points. Yeah, fast break is mean. You can win games without that you don't deserve to. But I hear you. And the occasional Doomtown stream. It's been years. Yeah. I like that. Let's say I was keeping the 50 minutes so I could break lock and then fast break. I'm running the deck in AH just so I can afford 3 of them. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, maybe an AH. Like, that's totally true. It's like Reality Plus actually might not even be the best home for this. Like, we don't have economy. Maybe just getting more card draw and like spamming more stuff on the table and having 17 influence might be correct. And then you can play 3 Arella and 3 fast break. I think that's actually a really, really smart idea. That there's a chance that this isn't the best home. Again. Sorry, Temple, I missed a message. Watched some gameplay and got a couple buddies begging us to play. It seems like a lot of fun. It really is quite fun. Is there a main Discord for Netrunner? Yes. You need to go to nearearthhub.net. This website has basically all the links. All these links, by the way, will be in the YouTube VOD after. There's a main one. I think the invite, the main Discord that most people are in, specifically new players as well, is called Green Level Clearance. It should be down here. Yeah, Green Level Clearance Discord. It's largely a lot of people are there. As a new player, it's super nice. You can label yourself as a new player. There's even like a channel where it can be like @mentor, looking to learn to play a game on Jinteki.net. And then someone will be like, hey, can you play in 10 minutes? I'll show you the ropes. It's really, really good. Can't recommend enough. Stimslag. Yeah. Don't listen to that. Templar. That's definitely it. I think the invite is Twitch. I think it's actually Discord/GLC. I'm actually was not really aware that Stimslag was still going on. I'm surprised there's Stimslag support. Oh, that's like an old guard thing. 2 more influence equals 1 Hangeki to use with QBM news team. Solomir. No. Hangeki doesn't even do anything. You have to access a card. Just play Meridian or whatever. Okay, we're gonna build a deck. Also, Templar, very importantly, if you have any questions, whether they're games questions, whether you think they're silly questions and you don't want to ask them, please ask them. Whether it's live here and whether it's directly answered by me or very likely by somebody in the stream, in chat, you'll make new friends. The community here is kind of phenomenal, and I don't mean the Metropole Grid. I do mean the Metropole Grid, but like in general, the Netrunner community is kind of something else. But yeah, please ask questions. The game is a bit daunting. It's a bit dense. There's a lot. There's a bit of a curve. That being said, System Gateway is the best intro product Netrunner has ever had in the history of this long-running game. So you're in good hands, but like just don't hesitate. Any question's a good question. Thank you, Thanos. It's discord.com/invite/GLC. I'm gonna remember that. We gotta delete some decks. Let's go do some history. Knifefly. That's a terrible name. It is Palangi. Knife. Okay, yeah, that can get deleted. ANR Seal League 1? No, that actually doesn't even have cards in it. Yeah, I guess we can delete that. New Nexus. Modded Nexus. It's not good. World's winning deck 2019? What? That's factually untrue. Was I projecting? Was someone else projecting? Oh, we can get rid of every Spark deck that ever existed. Okay, cool. I think I was predicting. Delete. Did I win World? Well, dude, didn't even realize there was an online client. I'd been playing Fab since Alpha, but wanted to do something new things to dive into. Oh, cool. Yeah. It's great. There's an online client, Jinteki.net. It's sick. There's also an online client that lets you play against an AI. It's kind of more like Felt Table in that way, if you want to just grind games out. You see my Fab reference. Yeah, no, it's really, really, really good. Are we doing Vial standard or startup? And Quetzal maybe. We are doing standard, but that's because I want to do as, because I think that makes sense. Did Diogene publish his Vial deck that he was putting together like a Quetzal deck? I don't know if he ended up publishing it. Yeah, we did. Okay, so we have a chat in our Montreal Slack, and Daojian's pretty, pretty quick to come up with ideas like how do we play Quetzal, and so we talked about Poison Vial. I gave some feedback to this list. I think there's some things I would change. I think this is a cool start for a deck too. Maybe it's a cool deck. I haven't tried it. I don't want to sound that negative. Quetzal's ability, they can break barrier subroutine once per turn for 0 credits. It's now a paid ability. If you saw old Quetzal, this is formatted differently. It works functionally the same. And the idea is that you have 3 poison vials. So the idea is you can break all barriers kind of for free. Didn't Daijin put in Isla Padma? Daijin is working today on what's it called? I love that the Daijin Isla meme is a bit of a meme. But he's working on what's it called? Kiko, which is really funny. Don't forget to save all your new Angel Soul decks. You never know when they might come back. One day. So the idea here, I think, is actually pretty cool, is that you have Quetzal with Poison Vial. And the big question, like Daojin started with, is what's the most unfair thing you can do with Quetzal? And my answer was like, Palangi's good. The big problem I have with Quetzal inherently is that of all the kinds of ice that Anarchs can break, modernly and standard, Paperclip's the easiest. Barriers are generally the cheapest. Like you're paying them more money to get through the big sentries and getting through the big code gates. So just using Quetzal as an ability to save money on face checking early and then like getting through some barriers, I'm not a big fan of that. So I thought maybe Poison Vial does work, but probably Palangi's the thing, because now you can make 1 ice a turn into a barrier, and then you can get through that barrier for free, either Quetzal singly or Quetzal Poison Vial. And I think that's a cool idea. Now, this deck doesn't have breakers in it. I think you can definitely play breakers. Poison Vial works pretty well with Botulus. You could also maybe not do... Oh, we actually are not on the console. But you actually could maybe do the virus console to charge Palangis and go kind of infinite there. Again, I'm not even sure if that's better than just doing like Palangi instead of Quetzal and playing an ability that's a bit more tempo driven. I don't know. 9 influence on Palangi, oof. Yeah, I don't know. It's good though. Like it's the most unfair thing Quetzal can do. And again, this is the big thing too, is we're not trying to figure out the most competitive but next best deck that's better than anything else. And that's where the big struggle I know I have in a lot of conversations about these sort of like janky kind of mid-tier decks is like, I know that we can do something very similarly, but in a different faction, and it'll be more consistent. So it's more of like, is it your love of doing something weird more than is it your love of finding the most efficient thing? Now, my favorite thing is when we get an intersection between a weird thing that's actually the most efficient way to do something. And I think this deck has some of the ideas, but not 100%. When can I play Tarmar New Sound? You can still play New Sound. It's good. Without server Quetzal is really hard to justify. Exactly. Sorry, Julian, I totally agree with you. It's like just kind of hard to justify. Otherwise, in the list, I think there's some reasonable stuff here. We were talking about how I thought Gachapon was like actually really cool to include with this deck. The fact that you can pull out your Palangis at instant speed, not consistently, but that's really cool. You can get Poison Vials on the table. You can't, can you? No, you can't do that. But you can get Botulus at instant speed. Botulus works with Poison Vial. There's some cool stuff here. But yeah, I think I'd do this a bit differently. There's a lot of 3-ofs in this list I don't think are 3-ofs. Like, I don't think this deck needs 3x Time Bomb. It doesn't have a lot of multi-access besides Chistushka and Time Bomb, which I don't think does enough. It's kind of on your opponent to, like, mess it up. You do have 3 Jailbreak, which is nice. But I think that's the idea. But we're going to play this in Standard because I want to play Az. Because Az gets down the Poison Vial cheaper, and then Az inherently has some other things that work relatively well with Poison. With Poison Az, you can play Boomerang, and that's nice. I'd argue that it's not necessary by any means. You're almost never Boomerang a 3 subroutine ice, but you also have your bullets. You can save Poison instead of bullets on your revolver, and then maybe we'll do something like Sebastian K-type Endless Hunger. You could try Adjusted Matrix. There's actually a lot of other things you can consider doing that I think are a bit more flexible and a bit more out there. Is there room for charge here, or is that too many things? That's the thing too, is like charge also relatively works well with Poison Vial. Like Poison Vial, maybe you're playing startup, you have Padma with Revolver, and I think Revolver is a hell of a drug. But always the problem is it's like charge targets is like you could charge this, or also you could just charge Endurance. And that's also the kind of the issue here is like, do you want a really cheap way to deal with ice? Like you can just play Endurance instead of spending 9 influence on Palangi. But again, it's not often the optimal thing. It's the cool thing you want to do. So it's hard to do. DJ Fenris Quetzal. Hey dear. Yeah, you can, right? That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. That was my whole struggle when trying to build Ampere for a GNK. And in the end, I couldn't bring myself to bring a pile of jank with no synergy. Yeah, Ampere's, I think, I don't like Ampere a lot. I think I like Nova a fair bit more, but yeah. Yeah, no synergy. So that's, we're doing Revolver, Boomer, and importing Botuli. I don't think we have to import Botuli. I think we want to get that engine that builds itself, like a lot of the hardware. So we have Boomerang Poison. We're going to have a bit of an arms dealer. We can also play Asmund a bit better. Pula, we can play a bit faster. I'm not sure what we want to play on Pula. I'm not actually convinced Pula is a really good card, but it's easier in Az, just because it is a connection. He's a connection. So that's kind of nice, I guess. half cost. Doesn't always have to be the most efficient if it catches the opponent by surprise, but open decklist tournaments squash that element. Yeah, there's just not that many open decklist tournaments, right? Like if you're building a weird, goofy deck, you generally don't end up at top tables. Unfortunately, that's usually true, but not often true. Well, sorry, not always true is what I mean. But yeah, open decklists, like it's not gonna help. But yeah, that's actually one of the unspoken benefits of a weird deck is people don't know how to play around it, and you can catch people by surprise. Andre, we did an all neutral GNK on pair building was tough. What was the win rate? What was the corp to runner win rate at the all neutral GNK? I like sided towards because it must have been runner. There's no way it was corp. Flux capacitor for a charging card? It's like really expensive. Oh, it's two. I thought a card that could time travel would be more influence, but what do I know about how time travel works? All right, so let's talk about this. I think we're just going to be trying stuff. I don't think we're going to make an amazing deck. I do think we have the backbone of an As deck, the sort of like prognostic Q-loop decks. I love them. Masterwork decks. It's perfect too because we're going to call the deck something about arms dealing, which like as a joke. But it's going to be fun. It's fun to see some experimentation. I'm on boarding with checking out some dubious ideas. Yeah, I'm totally on board with checking out dubious ideas. I totally am. I just always find myself in situations to be like, why do we do this? And then it's like, well, you can do something very similar that's much more consistent if you do this. And like, I'm a broken record sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes I just got to back up and be like, I want to see what it looks like at the end. So this is a place where my mind has been changed quite a lot by participating in the Ampere Nova GNK. Oh dear. What do you think the win rate would be? Corp actually had the better win rate. What? That was a solid ass joke. Thanks. It's just hard for Nova to both tech for tags and not get F8 on. Oh, that's true though. But admittedly, knowing that you're in an all neutral meta means that you can actually build around that. Where maybe in that point, the nastier Ampere decks are actually going to catch you by surprise, as opposed to playing Ampere in like a standard field where like it gets crushed by everybody because it doesn't do anything particularly well. Ace up Staples is down, but I believe Ampere is a 65% win rate. So yeah, maybe people are building into it. I don't know. I was not anticipating on Ampere to have a game, but it really is about 50-50. There's a big difference between Nova being better than Ampere in standard and Nova being better than Ampere in a singleton format. 100%. Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think that's makes a lot of sense in that format, the more that you think about it. Oh man. Okay. So this is going to get slightly blue, but I got into a chain of YouTube stuff and it ended up on some sort of, I think a sketch comedian in Canada who was looking through a list of that graphed people's sexual interests as they plot it in relation to where people fall on a political, that 4-axis political compass. And the person who gathered this information, what she said specifically is that they came up with a point. They were like, oh, that makes so much sense. This with this, like, that's obvious. And her response to that would be like, be careful with that sort of thinking, because it might be really obvious, but imagine if that data was the exact opposite, would you also say the same thing? And I love that idea, that fact, to be like, oh, that sounds like a very obvious correlation. But maybe if it was an extreme the other way, I'd also been like, oh yeah, obviously that makes a lot of sense. So like, yeah, it's kind of nonsense. Is there a good chunk of core suite cards still being played today? And do I need multiple core sets for a playset? No. Null Signal games, you get a full playset of anything you purchase, a full playset. Is there a good chunk of core suite cards still being played today? Like 2012 original FFG core set cards? By far majority, no. They have either long rotated or have functional reprints from the Null Signal area. But most of the ideas are still around, but I think a minority of the cards are legal. And if you told me that would be the case a month ago, I would have laughed you out of the room. You know what I mean? Like, I actually think NSG ended up knocking it out of the park with Ampere Nova design. Ampere V Nova is my favorite format right now, bar none. That's really cool to hear. I think it's cool Asmund can find you Amakua. The thing is, like, Amakua is not particularly good in As. Okay, I'm going to get back on track. Give me 1 second. Is it good in a vacuum or in relation to current standard? Ampere? Vacuum. Vacuum. For sure, vacuum. Okay. Here we go. So, things that we want to try out. We want to try Asmund Pula. Asmund says, when you install this, for 1 credit, it's a connection, sick. We're not playing World Tree as, no. You can search your deck for 2 viruses or weapon cards with different names. So 2 different cards. Host those cards here, and when your turn begins, you may add 1 hosted card to your grip. So you're paying 2 credits and an install to get 2 card draw. So credit to card, it's technically clickless, but they're spread across turns, so they're not on demand. Now with As, it's 1 credit for 2 card draw. Again, that's not always true because a lot of times you're installing hardware and stuff anyways, so you're going to use your discount on something. But the question is, what are the viruses or weapons that would be excited to play in this list? Again, the big thing they were trying to try out is Poison Vial. I'm not sure if this needs to be a 3 of in the deck. I'd be really surprised. I think we'd have to do something pretty wild for us wanting this to be a 3 of. At least it's not unique, which is nice, so the extra versions don't burn a hole in your hand. But I think we counted on the number of cards from OG Core that were legal, and we were surprised. It was like something like 25 to 30. I think it's probably higher on the corpse side than the runner side. That's my guess. Actually, I don't even know if that's true. But in relation to each other, they're quite fair. How close is World Tree from getting banned in Standard? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. I know a lot of people are more like gung-ho about getting Woo banned, just because World Tree is not the ridiculous card. It's just the consistency of Woo turn 1 that makes it a problem. So yeah, I think it's more likely we would see something like that than banning a card that's like probably not an issue outside of every deck besides that one. It's actually like a really fun and cool card. Cheapest way to get them is to get SU21 and you have full playset. Yeah, so, excuse me. There's 30 store card sets that are standard legal versus system update. So Templar, the big thing is that if you go to Netrunner DB, mind you, that's the website we're on right now, which most people do their deck building, and that's where you can see the DB of all the cards. The set that you would want to start with, obviously, is System Gateway, which is like the Learn to Play set, and then the System Gateway deck building bundle, which is like additional cards. So it's a bit more advanced, and that's great. But then like the biggest breadth of card pool extra stuff is this thing. It's called System Update 2021. Imagine it like the rotating core set from other games that have like a base set. It's not exactly the right thing. It hasn't rotated in a while. It's 2021. It's going to be here for all of the year. But these are almost entirely, if I'm not mistaken, FFG cards that got reprinted with null signal art and formatting and stuff like that. So these are kind of the backbone, not technically in popularity, but these are a lot of cards that null signal games thinks are important that they remain in the game. But cards like Corroders from the original core set, Mimics from the original core set, Liberated Counts isn't. Ice Carver is. Scrubber? Can't tell. Xanadu is. I think. Not actually sure, honestly. But yeah, this is the highest density of core set cards. They're still legal. It's a good set. I think I probably enjoy Ampere Nova less. The current standard meta was a misery, and even in standard was better. I like when NSG wins, and I like alternate formats. Please ban Woo so other shapers can breathe. We've seen no other shapers. It's pretty wild. Are there plans for S21 to rotate, and will there be future SUs? I can't speak for null signal, but they've been pretty clear that SU21 will be good this year. Maybe next year. I don't know. I imagine actually at some point, barring startup, which has a problem, is there's going to be no point of having a system update. Like to me, if you ask me, system update looks like a holdover of like, oh, we have a new format called startup and there's not enough cards in it. And like, it's hard to do Netrunner without like losing all of these cards. But like, if you ask me, it's a matter of time before there's a null signal imp equivalent. There's going to be a null signal liberated accounts equivalent. Maybe there already is, right? And at that point, I don't think we're going to get an SU. I think that's the one thing that they're printing that they're probably like the least happy about, considering it's not their stuff, right? Like it is technically FFG stuff, obviously reformatted, retooled, all that stuff, new art, all that great stuff. But I'm pretty sure it's only a matter of time that either the SU is going to be entirely in an auxiliary product that's only null signal cards already for some reason. Like if you don't want to buy, I don't know how you do that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're not going to have a system update in like 2 years. That's my guess. But I have no idea. I just know that there's not going to be a new one soon. And do we print them ourselves or buy them somewhere? You can print, firstly, at all tournaments, even Worlds, the highest level of tournament, proxies are totally legal. There are standards of what proxies are. You need to get them printed. You can't hand draw them at top legal tournaments. But all the stuff that you can buy, go to Null Signal Games, and they have a store there. If you live in the States, they'll sell directly to you. Otherwise, you can go to websites like Make Playing Cards or Drive-Through Cards, and they'll professionally print them and send them to you. They don't exist like in stores, like products you can pick up off the shelf next to like Magic or board games or whatever. But yeah, check out Null Signal Games, go to their shop, go to the products page. It'll take you there. As a Canadian, we order stuff from Make Playing Cards because it's what makes the most sense for us. But it's getting better. And they just opened up American direct shipping for certain things recently. And as she said, that future system updates will replace the current one, but they also have no plans for future released. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. We actually did a group Canada buy. It was wild. I still haven't picked up my cards yet. Pat has them. Did all of Canada do it? There's no way. The quest for functional replacements for hedge fund and sure gamble. They'll also be around forever, the number 3. And I think it's actually fine that they're around forever. How's it going? Netrunner's just got home from playing in RL. How's the net space this evening? It's been good. We played the cool NBN deck list of the week. We're building a deck now. We're going to try and see what Poison Vial can do in As. But we have a couple questions. Firstly, what cards have virus? Is it K? What's the subtype clause? On? Okay. Excuse me. On ArkhamDB, there's a button here that you can hit that says syntax, and it has a drop down of all the syntax. It's sick. Unfortunately, in NetRunnerDB, you have to go over here. And then you have to open this page. Don't like it. I wish it had it like it does in ArkhamDB. So we need subtype. S. Okay, that makes sense. That's good. The other thing, which I think is a real big problem on NetRunnerDB, and I'm just going to air my grievance publicly and hope somebody hears this and changes anything, is that there's certain cards that you just can't search up. You can't search up because there's no priority based off of card title. Like, right? Like, try to find ping. You can't. Try to find lat. You can't. This drives me so frustrating when you're trying to find ping and add to your deck. There's just certain cards where, like, if the match matches the full name, it should have a priority list. Like, try to find ob. You can't. That's my NetRunnerDB rank. NetRunnerDB is an amazing website. Those are the only two grievances I have. If we can tutor weapons, how about a revolver? We're definitely going to be tutoring a revolver. So weapon, very small list. We can open it up. I think there's only a couple other things. Yeah, it's Poison Vial itself, which is good. Revolver, which I think is like just kind of an underplayed card. You're seeing it more in startup. Begalter still exists in standard, so actually I'm not surprised. But yeah, we're definitely gonna play Revolver. We can get away with playing more than one of these because they have a shelf life. I watched Snatch this weekend, so yeah, you can always hit them with it. And I don't think we want to play Time Bomb. Maybe we could for flavor reasons, so we'll just add one, but we'll probably end up cutting it. It's not worth it. Do we want to tutor Fermenter? I honestly don't know. And that's the thing, right? Like, trying to figure out what we need to do to make Asmund good is a real weird question, because virus is good. If we sort by criminal viruses, all the criminal viruses are largely actually really quite good. We have Amakua, which is great. Now, classically, lat decks are, some of them are actually like really run based. If you're playing Prognostic, Q Loop, and a Masterwork, like, you are running consistently. So I wouldn't not consider Amakua. I do think there's still a fair bit of AI hate still, and maybe that's because there's a lot of NBN out there. But yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Snatch is such a good movie. It's pretty good. I liked it a lot. I had a DVD as a teenager, and watching it now, like 15 years later, it's like, it's still pretty great, isn't it? Are we playing Trank? There's the options. We also have Tapworm, which is like just a great card too. It's an economy card, slows them down. It's bad to play Tapworm and then like other purge stuff like Fermenter and Amakua, so we probably want to pick our fights there. But like having a card that draws your Tapworm and your Amakua like sounds really good, but I don't know. I really wanted the Time Bomb to be good in Az, but the fact that you need to run a Central first is really tough. I think a lot of the Az decks I'm playing Burden are running Centrals because of like the what's it called? The Chesva Prognostic combo. My NetRunnerDB nitpick is that it doesn't tell you what set a card comes from, only what pack. Oh yeah, that'd be cool too. I have all my cards sorted by set. That's annoying. It does have the set icon, right? You'd have to know it. Yeah, sort of. You still can do on tutor Fermenter. Revolver will make you armed and dangerous. That still works. You can hover the field after clicking card to search for the tooltip. Yeah, if you click this, it opens it, right? If you go to view deck, you can sort by set. Okay. Okay, other stuff we can consider, right? Like, generally, most of the viruses that are playable, we know are very playable. Tranquilizer is technically playable. It gets virus counters that we can de-res ice. Is that something that's really important to us right now? Is that really important that we have to address in the meta right now? Honestly, I don't know. I'd be really surprised. But the fact that like you can have one-ofs in your deck and you can pull them in the right situation with Asmund is interesting. And while Asmund is unique, once Asmund is done, we can get another Asmund to get more cards out of our deck. And that's maybe the beauty of Tranquilizers, that if you pull it out of your deck and put it on Asmund, it's no longer in your deck. Maybe that's a bit self-defeating. Yeah, otherwise, what would we consider, right? Like, Botchless makes a lot of sense. It is high on influence and it does something, excuse me, that Boomerang already kind of does. Albeit a fair bit more permanent, but it does work really well with the Poison Vial. And this is where like Asmund building gets like really, really interesting because I'm not actually sure what we want to do. In my limited experience, Asmund feels too slow and expensive. I agree, Vincent. That's what I'm guessing. I'm hoping Az can help. I'd rather just go 3x mutual favor. I suppose it's nice for finding the poison. Yeah. I think D-Res versus Ag is good. I think D-Res versus Ag is really good. It's just how much Ag are we like playing into on the casual lobby of JNet? I'm hoping 0. So yeah, I like, that's where Asmund leaves us. Like, I'm not actually sure what we want to get. Like, drawing the Poison Vial is good. It's also worth noting that this is a shuffle effect. So like, if we're playing Prognostic, Q Loop, and all that other nonsense, our deck is going to be ordered in a way that we actually kind of care about, right? Like, to some extent, when you're playing an As deck, it's good. You see the top 2 cards of your deck and you don't want to draw any of them. You actually want to shuffle before prognostic find something good. But one of the big thing in criminal decks is they're generally going through their deck and taking the bad cards either for that moment or the extra duplicate cards and bottoming them. And if you're bottoming them and you play Asmund, you shuffle your whole deck, which is kind of like a bad thing to do. We might just play Fermenter. Yeah, we're probably just playing Fermenter, right? Like, just play 2 Fermenters. We'll play 2 Asmunds. We'll have 2 Revolvers with Poison Vials. That's maybe good enough. We'll see as a draw package if that's good enough. We're going to cut the Time Bomb, obviously. Okay. Other stuff we want to do, we want to find the rest of our Breaker Suite. I want to try and remember what we had as our deck going into the last time that we did an As deck and we published it. So we definitely want to be playing Masterwork, I reckon. It helps with Poison Vial. It's also just kind of a good enough card. And then we want to play Prognostic. Also makes sense. Prognostic Cube on its own is actually really good with Fermenter, because if you use this intelligently on the corpse turn, your Fermenter comes in a bit faster, which is actually quite nice. Tapworm might also be good if we want to save Inf. Tapworm is like fine. The problem is like Tapworm now, and we're also playing Botchos, gets a bit like clumsy. You know what I mean? But like that's obviously a very good virus. It's really, really good. Are we DJ Quetzal? Yeah, you know what? We are DJ Quetzal. Let's go. That's a good way to use our Poison Vial. Let's play 3 just because I want to try them, but we're going to need more cards that use Poison Vial. So that's the second thing, is how do we use Poison Vial effectively? I don't think there's enough ice that like getting a 3 boomerang is actually that good. I don't think that really matters functionally. So what else can we do to make the file better? Chance for that to feel the prognostic. Yeah, we'll definitely do it. We're going to go over MU really soon. Cryptid Breakers. Cryptid Breakers are interesting. So that would be Kangamato and Gabali. The problem is with the Cryptid Breakers is that they're singleton uses. So you generally need to be playing either some sort of burst access or like informed access. So things like, Find the Truth. Technically always be running works. That's true. So I'm not really excited about them. It's also not like Geist where we get card drawn credits from them. Like installing this for 2 credits and having no way to like kickflip it out the way that we do with Boomerang actually makes us really kind of rough compared to like obviously Boomerang or anything else. Justin Matrix. Yeah, those are the other interesting ones, right? Like Endless Hunger. Isn't that going to be open source? Is it possible to prepare pull requests without upgrades? I'm not actually sure, Piotr. I'm not sure actually if Null Signal owns an RDB or not. You can check at the bottom. Not importing botchos. I don't know if we need to. I feel like that sort of targeted pressure might not be necessary, but we can consider it. Okay, so Endless Hunger is the interesting one, right? We can trash a card, and then we can go and Poison Vial through the rest. The question is, how much can we feed this thing? Ideally, we can install a lot of things clicklessly. I think the best case scenario too is we are installing and we're selling things or trashing things to Endless Hunger that are like at the end of their shelf life, right? Like things like a Poison Vial with 1 counter left on it, a Miss Bones with like 1 penny left on it, right? Stuff like that. Just sell Asmund. You can't exactly without losing a card because Asmund trashes himself when he has no cards on it, which is a bummer. NRDB is open source. Oh, sick. Yeah, there's a GitHub link at the bottom. Yeah, that's for sure. So like I don't know what to do. The other things are Adjusted Matrix. Adjusted Matrix is really kind of cute. It allows you to break a subroutine for a click. Now, very importantly, the text here is different than the text on the actual card. The card says interface. It's really funny now because interface has been a normalized null signal word. The cards that don't have it are generally surprising when you don't expect it, and then more often people miss it. So like Adjusted Matrix actually has to still be on an icebreaker that matches strength. A lot of times that means people will play it on something massive like the Endless Hunger, which is 11 strength. But again, a big problem with Endless Hunger is that it's 4 MU. There's no way around that, right? So as much as to filter the deck, trash them for breaks. Yeah, it's like, what's her name? There used to be an Anar card that allowed you to filter your deck and just take cards out of your deck. It was underplayed. It was really cool. So that's not good. Can we go Kangamato Gabali the back? I don't think so. It's like way too slow and too expensive. That's the way I see it. Like I'd be really surprised. We could try it. Maybe we could try it. I just think we are going to need much more acceleration to install all these things. Because that's the beauty with As. Currently, I do not think you can spend multiple clicks and multiple credits installing Gankamatos and Gabalis, let alone drawing them. We don't have massive card draw. We do have good card draw as long as we're installing hardware. And with Prognostic Q Loop, we want to make sure the top of our deck is hardware programs, which doesn't work really well with the cryptids. So it's really difficult to make all that work really, really quite well. If we had something like that, we might be okay. I just don't know if that's it. People play Deus Ex back in the day. Yeah, Deus Ex is 1 strength. It's 10 strength, sorry. It's 1 fewer than Endless Hunger, which is really cute. So yeah, I don't know what to do. Other stuff that we could do, again, we could have Quetzal. Quetzal works. That's a really good ability. You can also just do it with boat. Like, you can just play boat. Endurance works, right? Anything that has multiple subroutines, and again, those cards do show up. They're just not as consistent. Most decks try to run 1 or 2 just attacks at the boat if they can. This is where I bring up Rogue Trading Citadel Thunder Art Gallery. We have a link, right? We have a link. This card is actually, what it does is really, really good. Tech Writer for all the hardware program installs. Generally in these decks, you actually don't need them that often. Sometimes, but not often do you need it. A lot of times, HR, you can just go like Chesva and you just install your stuff for free. Come on, Q Loop and Endurance. We've never done it. Yeah, we'll play like, what's it called? Concerto or whatever. Yeah, this card has a nonsense amount of click compression. The problem is it's attached to an engine that doesn't exist. World Tree. Honestly, no. Did adding interface to adjust the matrix change how the card works? No, you're just playing it wrong. Sorry. You were just playing it wrong. Because it's text that an icebreaker gets. So the icebreaker has to inherently interface. How much inf is num? It's like 2, I think. Num is another interesting thing. The problem is like num is 3 influence. Num breaks sentries. We're already really good at breaking sentries. Like inherently we have Revolver, which is technically a viable target for Poison Vial, as much as it like kind of doesn't make sense. It's not really something we really want. I don't know. I feel like we're missing a slot here. Can't stick around, but if you do, news, I got 2 little plugs. One of my recent video, one of on Paradeck that was built using Trash Robusto. That's not on your channel, is it? That's really funny. Num is also kind of bad at breaking sentries. On its own, it's really bad at breaking sentries. But Poison Vial, it's like totally doable. Could do Leech. What, to blank their hand? Well, if their hand doesn't have abilities, yeah, maybe we could actually win on turn 6. Oh, like to do Leech and then adjust a Matrix? I feel like that's a bridge pretty far. I literally made this deck. How's it going, Slobber? With 2x Botulus? I just don't know. Maybe we could probably try it. We can just do Asmund Botulus. The thing though is that I would, if we're playing Botulus, like this is also a big thing you have to come to terms with, right? You're missing Tech Trader. Yeah. Well, yeah. Just jam some Botulus there and play all. Optimized according to Trash Robusto. Hold on. I'm going to open this. I just want to make sure we finish our thought first. Okay. If we play Botulus, it has to inherently change the kind of multi-axis we're playing in these decks, right? I think the last time I put an Az deck together, we were playing Stargate, but if we can only run Central Server so many times, obviously it actually is pretty high with Botulus Poison Vial, but if we only have targeted ice we can get through at any moment, we are probably going to have to, whoa, we can play Rejig. Well, we can just rejig the whole build. We can rejig everything. So we can rejig the vials to refill them. We can rejig the Botuluses to move them. We can rejig the Cheswas. Simulchip is probably not a bad call. The point I was getting at though is like if we need to make very, very strong value-based runs, right? Like this is the sort of list that in theory you would want to play Maker's Eye more than you would want to play Deep Dive. Neither though these are criminal cards, but like this is the sort of list like where it might actually be drastically difficult to play Wake. Because Wake requires a lot of runs on HQ to be good. Maybe not a lot. Maybe some is important. But you know what I mean? Like it might be hard to run HQ 3 times when the way that we're dealing with ice is Botulus Vial. Like that stuff runs out. Splash Flux? We might. I think we have a couple ways to go here. We're playing too many viruses. That's the issue. Legwork? Yeah, you can play Legwork. You could, but we have R&D issues. Docklands is fine too. Docklands works well with our engine. Like we generally play one Docklands. All right, let's try and get the rest of the deck together. We do need a Breaker Suite. Snow in this, throw in a Sneak Door and call it good. Yeah, until we look how much MU we have. But sort of. What did my old deck look like? Can we crib most of the engine? Checking DB standards from Flashpoint onwards. That sounds right. Yes, Flashpoint onwards. That's right. If you ever are trying to figure out Templar, you can go to advanced and you can go to the bottom and you can do rotation. And you don't see my drop down menus, but imagine down here there's something that says 5th rotation active latest. You can also, when searching, do Z standard if that helps. But yeah, on the search page there's a standard button. Just hit that. Zamba is cheaper MU. No, we're playing Masterwork. We're not playing Zamba or Maui. I've been only told Gauntlet is bad. Gauntlet is pretty bad. Well, compared to all the other HQ multi-axes you have built in, it's quite bad, yeah. Okay, as standard econ denial, as prognostic, as shell. Shell. Okay, so we're on Hushik. Oh, Hushik's actually really good in Az. Whoa, Hushik is probably kind of what we want. 17 hardware though. That's gonna be hard to rebuild. Okay, we can rebuild it. And twinning. Oh yeah, twinning. Okay, twinning actually makes sense. Okay, how much of this is going to cost before we run out of influence? Falsified to make sure our remote runs are matter. Slots are hard, but yeah, maybe. Thanks, past Andre. What did I do? Hushik is so expensive as a card. Sort of, yeah. Well, we're gonna try and install everything anyways because we're Az. But yeah, I kind of. You see, I did all the work already. Miss Bones, Class Act. Come on. Class Act 2, no free lunch. I guess we'll respect the meta. This is gonna be weird. I like the Xer idea. We can't keep playing every single virus. They're gonna purge once, or we're gonna lose the game on the spot, right? We're just gonna lose the spot. For the Az shell, oh, this shell's good. This is a good shell. This deck is like pre-rotation is really solid. The blueberry diesels are the weirdest part of it, but like you kind of need the consistency. Bravado 3, diversion, probably. Cut the fermenters. Yeah, I think we're gonna end up cutting the fermenters. We can do something better with it. Like we just can't have too many viruses on the table. What was our breaker suite here? I think the revolver also might be too cute. Like we might just be fine doing that, but Galter Cascade or Paperclip. And then just use Botulus as like our cute poison stuff. Cat's Cradle, Paperclip. You just build the deck once and then every other deck is that deck again. It's so easy. Okay, we need a lot more hardware. We probably have too many resources. I'm kidding, we're playing Asmund. Cut Fem for Flux. Chrissy, how's it going? Cut Fermenter for Flux. Yeah, I want to play Flux. You're right. Yeah, unique programs are cool. Did they make the flavor blueberry to match criminal color scheme? Yeah, definitely. That's why the diesel one is green and why the red one's moshing. All right, flip switch, hijacked router. Oh, don't look at that. Lucky Charm, Masterwork, prepaid, not great. Recon drone, what? That must have been a typo. That can't be right. Without the revolver and fermenters, the Asmund hardly seems worth it. No, Asmund gets poison vial, it gets Botulus, it gets yeah, okay, that's true. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna come to the conclusion that we're not good at building Asmund decks because we take the Asmund part out of it out. Still waiting for Cranberry Diesel. It's only for holidays. Okay, Docklands Pass, Flip Switch. I do like Flip Switch. It's like just good enough in the shell. It's kind of fine. I feel like the DJ Fenris is probably going to be a road too far. I think we can go one Miss Bones in the modern meta and just hope it works. Sorry that we're tab jumping so much. Chesva 3X. This guy had something to prove. Bravado Diversion, sure gamble. Again, sometimes it's actually really important. Pinhole would make sense. Dirty Laundry actually makes a lot of sense because it's economy and we want to be run based. And Blueberry is really important just so that we find our pieces. But like you see the issue here, we'll just say that. Imagine taking Flip Switch instead of NFL. Yeah, but Flip Switch is a hardware, and you just need hardware with Masterwork. You just need it. Like we're on both, but like you need cheap hardware to get this down. Like otherwise, the Masterwork package with the prognostic package is like kind of underwhelming. But it's really really good if you can support it. The problem is like the rest of your deck, I guess. The things we do post Sports Hopper, it's not that bad. Come on, come on, it's not that bad. All right, what can we include if we really wanted to? We are 44 cards, so like it's almost perfect. This is almost, we have no multi-access. We have a twinning. So this is why I think Hushik is kind of neat. Like look at our two costers. Cat's Crater, Revolver, Botulus, Cheza, Boomerang, Docklands. Am I proving something? Masterwork, Poison. Like Hushik is really good. Asmund. Hear me out. Revolver, Asmund, Boomerang, Botulus, all two cost cards. We can play Hushik. Vincent, you're getting where I'm going. Zenith is okay, but it kind of messes up your whole rig. Like that's the problem with like the free draw package is sometimes you see the top two cards of the prognostic and then sometimes you want to keep them there. It's kind of true with Class Act to some extent. But yeah, I like Hushik. The problem is it's influence and we spend our influence on other stuff. I think we can cut the twinning and then probably cut DJ Fenris. Like we have Paperclip, we don't need that. Okay. Do we need 3 Chesva? Yeah, maybe. It's kind of nice. Is this a deck? Wake? Wake is probably good, yeah. Wake would just probably be the Docklands Pass slot. Yeah, that's probably fine. We can take damage. How many end the run effects stuff cute shook in standard? Oh, how many boomerang defensive upgrades? Don't worry, we're playing pinhole threading. So Poison Vial saves you up to 2 credits most of the time. Poison Vial. is the card we're testing. So your criticism is appreciated. But the big thing is that it's going to help with Botulus. You're right that with our Breaker Suite, it doesn't actually really matter that much. It works with Botulus relatively well. It works with Boomerang okay. There's a chance it should be a 2 of. Maybe for that reason, we should just like force a DJ Fenris in it. So yeah, Hardware as deck. Howdy, Andre. Yeah, Ahmed, how's it going? But you're right. It doesn't sound like amazing. I wish we had like one really cute thing to work with this. Like one cute thing. Because it's just Botulus, Poison Vial. Like that's not necessary. Like we probably go 2 poison vials. Like we don't need 3 poison vials. We have 2 Asmund. Like this equals more poison. We're gonna like draw 2 poison vials and draw an Asmund and have no idea what to do with our life. This is fine. Paperclip equals Fenris and Corroder. I like how you think. It's a 2-coster. Ah, perfect. How much economy we have? Enough to play the deck, right? Arms dealer. It's a joke because of Ambus's arm. Let's go. Flawless. Don't even bother Corroder, play Cleaver. You're probably right, actually. We should. And I don't think we need another 2-coster in there. It's the same influence. It deals with the cheap stuff pretty good. And with Botchus, we'll deal with the tall stuff. I think you're right. I think we saw the number 2 and then we saw red. Or, yeah, accurately red. I was going to make a blue joke, but... Cleaver to Corroder, yeah. Unity's 2-cost. Yeah, but it's influence. And we just can't. Like, I think we have too many 2-costers, if anything, right? And if anything, maybe we could play 1 fewer Hushuk and like spend that to influence anywhere else. I don't know if we need 2 Hushuk because this, again, it's the card that you want to draw in the mid game. I also don't know if we need Blueberry Diesel, but yeah, we'll just put a Cleaver in there. It's better at the low stuff. The bigger stuff, hopefully, we'll get through. Like, there's a big chance that we drop a Hushuk and then we can play like a Simul Chip. Andre's the Unity hater? Yeah, I kind of am. No, it's like totally true. I'm a Unity hater. Not like as a concept, as a card. I think Unity as a concept is like pretty likable. Just cheat a Sai in. 2-cost. What's our killer? Yeah, we're playing 2 Revolver just because it makes Asmund sound like he has a job. We probably should be playing Pigalter. It does say 2 on it though, right? Please, can we get a favorable matchup? Yeah, Corroder's okay with Hushuk, but like, you only need 6 2-cost cards at once. We'll hit that consistently, right? All right, it's like 11 o'clock. Are you ready to remember the top 2 cards of your deck consistently? Oh, it's too late. Great. At least it's going to be slow. Thanks, you too. What's the favorable matchup, though? Honestly, Thule might be it. Opening hand, Masterwork for 1, draws a card. Chesva, Dirty Laundry, and just like YOLO off the top. We'll keep this. We could do worse. Like, Masterwork is so important. Prognostic would be the next best thing here. Obviously, Asmund. We snap, keep Asmund. Love these interesting spellings of Hushuk. Yeah, nobody has any idea how to spell that. I honestly would put myself at a 60-40 of getting it right. Leech, I think, is okay. Leech is another thing that gets purged out. Our MU is really, really tight. And like, if we don't have Electro, we can't play it on turn 4 where it like really wins the game. I'm not going to stop making that joke. Server 1. Okay, let's go. Playing a lot of 2-cost cards makes the core play around Hushuk even if it's not in our deck. I'm constantly playing around Hushuk. I'm reading all the card numbers. What makes you so confident you can spell it right? I've had to spell it a lot. All right, okay, so we drew with Masterwork, so that's our hardware trigger. Playing as requires way more focus than we're going to be able to do optimally, but we're going to have an okay time doing it. So if we get Chesva down, we have 2 recurring credits. So if we Dirty Laundry, we can only install the top card of our deck. Oh, we don't have Prognostic. No, we have no hardware. So there's no real point Dirty Laundering here. We can draw up once more. This seems like a bit order lull, but that is a clickless card draw. So we're just going to Dirty Laundry Archives and then just take the sure gamble. We have to figure out what kind of ice they're on. If it's the face checks aren't super bad if it's just harmonics, at least until bloop is up. And then when bloop is up, that's a lot of bullets. Well, ideally botchless it. Yeah, it seems reasonable. Bravado is server. Yeah, honestly, Bravado server might have been better. I think we will now. We just don't want to do that later on, but it's not like we were accessing cards. So here, getting down the Chesva first doesn't really help. Ideally, we want to draw into a hardware like that. Will we install that for 2 credits to draw a card? With a Chesva, yes. And here we still have a click if we want to hit HQ. Oh, hitting Fairchild 3 here is going to cost us the game. This also helps us with Biroids, which is kind of cute. Not a Fairchild 3. For a moment, I lived in a world without Fairchild 3, and let me tell you, it was beautiful. It was really nice. There's an awkward timing thing here. FC2 can be a bad face check. No, we click and poison it. Oh, FC2. Yeah, that's fine. We just pay 4. You can't complain about Asmund not finding anything if you don't want to actually put targets in. We have a couple. That's a sick rip. I don't think we want to take the core damage this early because we're doing better than they are. So we'll just go. Yeah, Poison Bile is really good against Biroids. The thing is, like, people don't play Biroids, and Fairchild 3 doesn't care because it's a 3.0, so they just don't care. Eli, good. That being said, like, you just cleaver through Eli. Like, I don't think you click. Yeah, that's a really good opener, right? Like, we stop respecting core damage once we start taking those on. It looks like that was probably a bloop. Okay, we got a Flux, Infinite Poison. Uncell's the big one. Yeah, this helps with Uncell, but for what it's worth, we already have Revolver, so we're really pretty good against Uncell anyways. Draw. Okay, again, against Thule, we go pretty slow because they don't have an inherent win condition. Getting down the no free lunch is actually super pertinent because they could be on, and I think last turn we actually risked it, that they could have actually hit us with just attitude adjustment, or sorry, what's it called? A distributed tracing into, what's it called? Death into the line. Like we were risking it. But like once I get a Revolver down, they have to res a bloop and then we just pay 4 credits. 2 credits with Chesva. It's totally fine. Flux on Archives and Poke. We only want to Flux on a nice they res. If we just Flux on that and they trash it, we lose our Flux. Like we have no recursion. We probably should be playing a Simul chip instead of like the second Hushuk or something. But we also want to run when we have a hardware in our hand, and I think our deck might be a bit hardware. Yeah, it's on break first subroutine, and not subroutine per turn, per encounter, which is like kind of sick. All right, we'll hit R&D. We can pull the Boomerang out here. If we lose a Boomerang, I think we're fine with it. This is free. It draws us a card. Oh, I'll do the Masterwork first, in theory. And we always want to access with a click left here. Okay. Better in Sports Medal, you tell me. We have no free lunch now, so if they want to burn a distributed tracing, they can. This looks like it's on 11 agendas. We have to watch out for the Giardano pizza. We don't have the tech subsidy. They have a lot more credits than I thought they would. Second ice. Okay. Beloved Prognostic, they drew last. So here we just want to keep going through our deck, hardwaring up, bravadoing essentials. This installs hardware. We don't have a Mad Dash slots. We probably should, but again, I think we're cutting a lot of like fundamentals just to play the weird stuff. So that's the sort of thing that you add back in. All right. Flip switch R&D. It's still alive and well. We'll install this. It draws a card. It's free. I love playing ads. This engine is so compelling to me. So compelling. Okay. They're going to fast break at some point. Oh, we can use the Chesva credits. My. Well, we're not using the poison. So that's one of them down. And now also we can just like run away from a face check. It's all events. It's not Elevagao. Do we just run it? So currently we are showing no breakers. We can't reposition the Boomerang. What are we scared of them scoring out? They could, like, in theory, advance and then install a Jupe stat on it, but, like, probably an NGO front. I'm not actually sure what we're worried about here. I wish I hit half as many agendas with half as few Nightmare Archives against Thule. It's just a longer game. That's all it is. I don't know what to do. I don't know what this is. This is really weird. It kind of looks like it's potentially a Ikwa, right? It could be a Cerebral. I don't know. Like, that's kind of the hard thing. I think at this point they might have to start, like, making plays. If they don't res, we could jack out. $5 is an Onto. I don't think it's an Onto. I think it's more likely an Ikua. Or they're just feeding us nonsense to fast break. But it could be a trap. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Do we just lose to an ontology what's it called? Core damage? Not really. We can check it. What can we get through? We can always just run and see what they res and then flip switch it if we need to. If we lose 2 clicks to a pulse, we can still steal the Ikua, but we take a core. Again, we probably should just get a Revolver down sooner than later. Yeah. Oh. 2, 2, 2, 2. Well. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay. That's probably good enough, honestly. This costs 0? Drat. I don't want to install this unless there are ices res. I think we'll just keep drawing. Alright, well that's useless. You win the game if it's a stolen Ikua? Yeah, but if they score an Ikua, it's like totally fine for us as well. Right? Doubt there are any 5/3s if they're on all these little agendas. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's maybe unlikely. Yeah, okay, NGO, sick. They have a lot of money. I don't know how they're going to use it. Maybe we're going to see like tier and stuff like that. And then honestly, you can click through a tier once and then like poison vial the rest of it. But I think here we're just going to like, I don't even think we need the 5th, 6th card. I think Hushik for 5 is just totally reasonable. I think we want to draw once so that we can, oh, that's a spin doctor, right? So we want to run archives first. I'm so used to flip switch drawing a card. Still good though. Yeah, that has to be a spin doctor, but then why wouldn't they res it? It's just like install draw is like really strange. So I want to check archives first to see if they'll shuffle back in before we like Akusha, because the cards are probably out of the deck. We'll draw once for hardware. That's perfect. Oh, that's really good. Sick. If we boomer, we'll be on 4. We already have one though. It's a wave. That's fine. That can fire. They can get a credit. Now they can threaten what's it called? The bloop. But that is totally fine. So let's see what they pull the hand. A tier. Okay, that makes sense. I think they're going to be on a ganked deck with a lot of big ice. And we're really good to deal with a ganked deck as long as we keep our flip switch and safe. So this is 1 credit gain for them. So they still lose a credit on that. This will not fire. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, it is a spin doctors. Okay, so we read that well. For the Buchuk count? Oh, but we already have a boomerang, right? Oh, you're right. If we pop it, you mean? Oh, like if they res here? I'm pretty sure we access 1 card, right? Yeah. I think we just fire it. We actually could shuffle the Masterworks. We'll do that next turn. We'll shuffle the Masterworks because you can always overstall your console with the next console. The thing is we've already got our As ability and we've got our Masterwork trigger. So maybe it's a bloop here. We can just shoot it. Okay, C5. Oh, we win. Good game. Wow. That was rough. Yo, this deck seems good, right? That's like kind of what I expect from an Ikoa deck. From a Thule deck. Like they don't really have a game plan. They kind of just hope that a lot of times there's a hope that you mess up and don't respect it. And immediately it slows you down. But that seemed pretty ideal. I wonder what R&D is. It must have been massively expensive. But again, resing the really mean face checks like bloops or a tier into like a revolver, let alone poison vial, let alone flip switch, seems a bit messed up. Nosy, so cool to see you streaming. Got me back to Netrunner. Yo, get out. Okay, look, I didn't get you back into Netrunner. Netrunner being a good game got you back into Netrunner, but I'll take it. How's it going? How's your evening? Thule any percent run? That was really good. That seemed good. The deck did like exactly what we wanted it to do. Not that we were forced to react to a lot of stuff. And that's obviously like, you know, the real crucible you need to run your deck through. But Asmund was like perfect. Let's do another one. Poison Vial, Intimidation Value, Infinite, apparently. They were all 1.0 Byroids, just waiting to get the tox. All right, Titan, this can be rough. Because actually some of the bigger ice we can deal with relatively well. Opening hands is ugly. All right, so opening hand, best thing, Masterwork, worst thing, Hushik. Cleaver's like really bad into this matchup because they're generally early. We have to respect things like having a flip switch is so important in this matchup because we're expecting Trebuchet, we're expecting Bulwark, and all that stuff wrecks our board. So I'm gonna mulligan this hand. Like by far, sure gamble into Masterwork is fine. You could maybe expect some of the outfit decks to be on like tag stuff, but I'd be more likely that they're on Borehole. So did the arms dealer fire the revolver yet? We haven't seen him. I don't know if we put him in the deck. He did say 2 on them though, so we would have enjoyed him. Don't understand your great marketing. The game is great, but we all thank you for lying to be seen more. I appreciate it. But good game. Go out and play local. I gotta draft this weekend. I'm really excited. I haven't drafted in a long time. We're gonna mull this. We could maybe keep this. I think we consider high rolling again. Flip switch just means we face check. It's just like the Masterwork is so good. The problem is like we sure gamble Masterwork and draw into nonsense. We don't have a game plan here. That I think is a fair bit worse. Forcing the runner to trash a borehole is a great way to enable HHN. I fear both. It's just like really hard to do that and then also have your agenda package at least solves itself. Yeah, maybe you're right. You said Titan. I did double take. Did I say Titan? Because this does look like Titan at a distance. Excuse me. What kind of draft have been working on a grid cube draft tool online? I'm not exactly sure. I think it's just packs. I think it is like one of the stim hack. All right, hostile. They have 13. We have Bedpub. Bedpub works really well with our engine, by the way. Chesva prognostic engine. Maybe we should kept that for that reason. Yeah, maybe we were gonna regret this mulligan. But I think it's just packs because I think it's like 6 players and it's like all I think rotated cards. Okay, so we get YOLO Wake Implant. Agenda Suite, we're expecting if they're on whatever that consultant buyout. What is it called? What's the consensus on its viability as a win con? I don't think there's enough data points. I'm not actually sure. That's fine. I think this card's too cute for the deck. Let's go HQ. But we're assuming they're on the 6-2. I don't know if they're on SDS or 5-3s. They could be a punitive list. Government subsidy. Okay, so money, big money is important. I'm actually now scared of hard-hitting news. We have Revolver, which is like okay, but actually not that good into Trebuchet. And we draw into a diversion. That's good. Drafting is literally one of the coolest play experiences I've ever had in an AR. Choose and have a blast, man. Thank you. Draft can be like, I don't know. Draft can be weird. I'm not a big fan of like super high power draft where it's just like, oh, they got down a keyhole in turn 1, I lose. I'm more, oh yeah, there you go. It's fast advance. I'm more into like the a bit slower draft. We're like lower power level, kind of limited draft, which some mileage may vary. Okay, we have a diversion to drop them to 1. They could be on Audacity, but they're like halfway at game point. We do get a Wake Implant counter. We can lock the top of R&D. If we draw once here, what were we drawing into? We're ideally drawing into a Masterwork. Is this guy useless right now? I feel like this guy is useless. What if we install him? What do we get? Poison? That doesn't matter. Imp would be cool. Here we go. Take their money. And I don't think they're going to have another agenda, so we're just going to lock the top of the deck. Hostile, love it. Atlas. Oh, damn, we're good. Okay. Nice. Winning via borehole seems like a pipe dream. You can win with a rig shooter package maybe. So I don't think borehole is like the win condition. I think borehole forces your opponent to have to deal with an issue while you fast advance. And borehole is the big enabler of getting bad publicity, which is super important for the deck. Could have found you an Xer. Yeah, but next turn, right? Like I don't even draw it. We'll draw for dirty. Okay, prognostic on its own is actually worth doing because they have bad pub. We can just fire this during a run. This is free. So we can check server 3, server 4. We know one of them could be a Chrism. We need to keep down Spin Doctor, Dirty Laundry, and Chesva. Okay. So Rashida, yeah, we'll bring that down for bad pub. So unfortunately, Dirty Laundry is on top. If the Chesva was down, we could use our bad pub. We're probably going to use our bad pub to trash this, whatever this is. Chrism, yeah. We could have guessed that was the Chrism. Maybe we should have believed in ourselves. At least next turn we can draw once and then Dirty Laundry HQ and then with bad pub get the Chesva down. And we can use the Chesva to trash stuff. Consume Pula. Honestly, Consume as a virus is like one of the few viruses that's definitely worth tutoring, but I don't think we would do it in as. How the hell do they have 17 credits? Oh, too big to fail, but of course. All right, we'll draw once. Dirty Laundry R&D. Now, this is where bad pub is so cool in this matchup. We will not look at the top yet. Oh, I guess we have to. So we know it's Chesva to prognostic. Okay, so then we'll use this to install the Chesva just so we don't have to draw it. It's a Trebuchet. Thanks. One card in HQ, no idea what it is. This we have to respect Trebuchet. We have to respect Bulwark, which will eat our Chesva. We don't really care. The next card's another prognostic, which is not particularly good. So here we need to find flip switches. Honestly, installing Asmund here for 2 just to shuffle our deck is like kind of reasonable, but only before we drew the prognostic. That's weird how that is. Yeah, install Pula to shuffle the deck. I think I would want to do it, but not now, unfortunately. I think we can click for a credit and then next turn on their turn, we can just fire Chesva because money might not matter. And then if that like whiffs, we can decide to Asmund turn 1. Hey, Rohit, just tuned in, man. I have like 200 hours in Gunfire Reborn, so I succumb to another FPS roguelike. Yeah, maybe. You might be behind on the stream if you're talking about the roguelite. But I didn't enjoy Gunfire Reborn as much because I felt like the shooting wasn't as good. So maybe try it out if you get to this comment. Okay, we're going to fire this on their turn. It's a sure gamble. Do we want a sure gamble here? We're pretty sure it's a Trebuchet. Trebuchet is what? 6 strength? It's a good poison target. No, it isn't a good poison target. It's not. So that means we break for 2-4. So we get some runs on it. The problem is like one of the best times for us to face check is HQ is before we put down a breaker, because this we can get punished specifically if it's Whoredom, not Whoredom. Wow, the 10 strength barrier. Just checking the text. Let's go. Bulwark, thank you. Top 2 of the stack. It's a Cat's Cradle and the Class Act. I'm going to avoid installing the Cat's Cradle until we see an Afshar or anything. Could be Whoredom, Afshar, but like we don't install the Cat's Cradle and just feed it to the Trebuchet. No further access. Okay. What is this? Archer? It is a borehole. It is a borehole. We could pay 4 here now. I think we will. It's only 2 credits. Let's go back. Yeah, only costs 2. I forgot we still had Chesba. So I'm pretty sure this is a Bulwark. I don't know what else they're not resing. Audacity. Again, here we're just trying to get Awaken Plant counters because we know we can run R&D. So the question is what we do last click. They have an Audacity in hand, which they could fire next turn. If they have the other 3-2 in hand, and again, they're only looking at, well, they could be on Azyef's, and there's a chance that this Chrism here is just actually Azyef bait, and it's probably maybe worth trashing for 3 credits. Who knows? We can get our credits up, or we can go for another access. I'm going to go for another access. I don't know if there's something here that'll give us a tag that they're holding for last click. But just getting accesses in here seems really important. Archer. Okay, so we know their whole hand. Good publicity. I don't know if I said hey loathing. Shit. Are they audaciting? Did they top deck? No. What is that? Borehole and Chrysium? They drew second, so I don't know what this is. That seems really strange. But we basically just want to see 4 off of R&D. And we know it's a Trebuchet. Oh, should we want to pull a Cat's Cradle? I don't think so. It was Cat's Cradle into what? Oh, this is a bit too late to be playing this type of deck. Draft can be weird. Don't you ever say a bad thing about draft? I think, Exarn, you like more high power draft than I do. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's just like preferences. Hey, Sauce, how's it going? All right, too bad publicity. We can get the Revolver down. We can see lock the top of the deck. This could be a Spin Doctor. It could also just be a Borehole, which would make sense. We know the top is a Cat's Cradle into something. I don't think we want the Cat's Cradle. So I think we'll Asmund first just to get the shuffle. So we'll get another Revolver because we know that they have them. And then we'll get a Botulus, which is actually one of the best ways to deal with Trebuchet. Because we can always do we can force our way through the trays. Then we'll install the Revolver. And then we'll run R&D. Top 2 cards of stack. It's a no free lunch in Class Act. Okay, the Class Act is worth installing. Nothing else. I think maybe they wanted Audacity and forgot the number of cards in hand clause. Oh, you may be right. Yeah, maybe they did goof it. But then, yeah, I don't know. All right, that's another bad pub, so that's going to help. So it's 4 and 2 bullets. It's only 2 and 2 bullets. It's actually kind of free. It's just bullets. So Asmund actually seeming okay here. Breach server, we're going to see 4 cards. Hedge Fund, Azyef, Hedge Fund, Spin. Hedge Fund, Azyef, Hedge Fund. So there's 2 hedge funds on top. Yeah, we'll trash the Spin. I realized between you, me, and Isengri, we have a power level preference represented low, mid, high. I think I'm low to mid. I don't think I'm definitely full low. But like I appreciate what the unsung cards are like good in draft. Yeah, that was good access. We're on game point now. Oh, no, am I too bad? No, it's... Oh, it's all good. I think it's a Borehole. Which is scary, but if we lock R&D, it's not that scary. Hey, Gabron. Hey, Metropole. Don't get to see these live too often, but your channel's been such an amazing resource helping me get into the game. Thank you for what you do. That's very kind. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I have to do it too. That's very kind. Glad I can help you get into this game. It's a great game. I'm really always excited to be able to share my excitement. Okay, it's a Borehole. We have even more bad publicity. We know they drew a hedge fund. This is 2 ice. Could we lose to the super deep Borehole? Eventually, yes, maybe. They drew another hedge fund. So we actually, the top of R&D is totally unknown. Start a turn, we can add something to hand. So if we actually did Botulus Poison Vial, we could put the Botulus on HQ and just check HQ safely. Because right now we can get kind of blown out if it's what's it called, a Bulwark. Bulwark trashes 1 program. It's our choice though, so I don't think we care that much. It just has 2 end the run subroutines though, which kind of is not good for Botulus. We also didn't shuffle our deck, so it's no free lunch into Class Act. So we just need to get counters. We just need to run HQ. We have 4 bad pub. Cleaver's really bad into Bulwark, but Botulis is fine. So I think we need to force a res. We didn't shuffle, so we're gonna, yeah, we know the top of the deck. Let's run. We know hedge fund, we know half their hand. Top 2 cards of stack, we know it. No free lunch Class Act. Oh, it's an envelopment. I wasn't expecting that. That's cool. Poison Vial gets through that eventually. So that's just a matter of turns before we start getting our Chesva counters. Now the question is, do we just like go to the super deep borehole? Mind you, also at this point, in terms of trace, we are at 1 link, 4 bad pub. So like eventually you can just run through Trebuchet without a board state. But we can consider running this. They can no longer res Bulwark. Trebuchet is like not a great res. I think we can consider running this. I don't know what we're forgetting here. But like this comes down. Oh, that's the bad thing. I think that's fine. We have another revolver. Okay, it's 4 to match strength. That's fine. That's bad publicity. Then mind you, this is 6 more to trash, and I don't think they can res another ice here. Unless it's a Hordem, that'd be bad. Okay. So they also get 3 a turn, which is totally worth noting. And then in terms of the subroutines we want to break, trash installed programs end the run. So that's 3 bullets. We can give them 2 credits on 6. They can res an envelopment. Do we just bounce here? Like, is it that important to trash the super deep borehole? They have a hedge fund in hand. I have no idea whether it's any strong, but this deck does some cool stuff. Which on their deck? It's neat. It is really neat. Okay, interesting. We can also just let this fire and save. It's only bad publicity, so we're only saving bullets, so that's fine. So which Sentry subroutines are we going to break? Probably want to keep our gun. What? Wait. What? Oh. I trashed it instead of use bullets. That's on me. So you can either trash the revolver or you can use the bullet. We hit the wrong one. You want to use the bullet. Oh, I mean, it's like really fun. And like, I think we're a couple pieces of hardware short. I think maybe we could have considered keeping the Masterwork hand because with our Masterwork engine, we're drawing through, but like as decks are kind of primo fun. Okay. So then we'll do this one. That's the important one. So trash seems good. Do we want to give them credits? It puts us on no revolver counters, which means they can't res Trebuchet. Is there any other sentry we're worried about? They could get a second archer. That'd be like kind of cool. Immediately at that point, though, they just trash this, which we don't care about. Because our next turn, unfortunately, we can't get down the, what's it called this turn? The no free lunch. Or sorry, the Class Act. It's a bit too far. I'm just going to do the end the run. Because with 2 bullets, we can still get through R&D. Or 1 bullet and the gun itself. The borehole is being dug to release Cthulhu from the sunken city. That guy needs air. Let's see what this is. The second archer is a bit annoying. Oh, that's just good enough. That's actually really good. Nice. Okay, so we can draw, and then we draw once more, and then we can YOLO the top of the deck on their turn. Draft question. In the FFG games, how's it going, Sophie? Would draft packs be one use, letting people bring home extra copies of important cards? Maybe an alt-art draft could be a fun way to get hedges and gambles on old cards. Yo, Sophie, specifically because FFG draft existed in a world. Oh, by the way, just play pinhole threading, but hey, that's my problem. It existed in a world where people had core sets that were like not full set play core sets. The best prizes you got from drafts, where at the end of the draft, people would be like, oh, I got a SanSan, I got a Desperado, and that's what you'd go home with. So a lot of people would be like, oh, I have triple play sets, full play set of everything. So they would like give other people their cards. Do we want to add the revolver to hand? Yeah, why not? Extra Desperado, yeah, it was a really key thing. It saved some people like $45. Hey, in the Netrunner world, what happens if they successfully dig the super durable? Do they dig through the planet or something? I don't think it's possible. It's just unclear what they're getting towards. All right, we can YOLO this on R&D just to see. Again, we just need 1 good access. Hushik, we're at Hushik 1 equally as Hushik 2, which is really funny. We could have Botulist on this last turn, which actually probably would have been a good last click. Yeah, this is a bit ugly. So we can run HQ. Yeah, I think we're just going to run R&D and spend our last bullets. We got to see the top of the deck. It was a Chesva to Diversion. So here we have enough bad publicity that we can just do Prognostic, spend the Chesva, get the Chesva. It's almost free. Continue encounter here. What was after the Chesva actually? Like I immediately forget. We'll match the strength of the trebuchet. That's bad publicity. We're going to use our bad publicity on that. Actually, it doesn't really matter. It's best we use our bad pub. And then we want to break the 2 subroutines here. Install 1 runner card. So we'll break. We can. Yeah, we'll just throw the gun at them too. It puts us farther away from Hushik, but we could win in a single. Doof? We don't have it. Oh, it was Doof the next card? Wait, for real? That would be good to know. I just clicked through that too. I also don't know what we saw. It's fine. We went and lose in 4 turns. Wasn't it nice? What did we just saw? I think it's important to know what we saw in R&D. I think we can install the class act and then just click. The only other thing we would consider doing is putting a botchless on something. Did we see an ice on R&D? Like, are they going to replace this? We know nothing about their hand. It was a code gate. Okay. That's not good for us. You click too fast. Okay, great. It's not just me. This is better than clicking for credits, so we're going to install this. This is better than clicking for credits, so we're going to install this. All right, so what do we want? Boomerang is really good for Trebuchet. It's clickless. Bravado is really good. Double diversion is not necessary. Mate just messaged me. Yeah, totally. You didn't know? The lobby was the name of the stream. Sorry if that's a surprise. You can watch the VOD later if you like. Yes. Hey Jessica, how's it going? It is, yeah, watch it after. Oh, cheers. So Curse of the Old core sets didn't come with full play sets. I knew a lot of people bought 3, but it's interesting to know other historical workarounds. Feeling thankful for NSG. Yeah, it's a really, really good thing that NSG is doing for obvious reasons. But like I don't think the core set thing is like super. Some people are more pessimistic about it than others. For me, like, man, we just need a Hushik. I think we can draw once because our turn would be draw. We installed the boomerang and we revolver. But for me, it was like they could only print so many cards at a certain price point, and it was more important for more players to get a breadth of options more than it was to get the depth of 3 of cards that they won't play 3 of. So like, I'm not super pessimistic about it. I get it. Yeah, right? No one plays that one. We might lose the Borehole on this one. I moved to Australia, so I can watch the streams at a reasonable time now. Oh, get out. How's it been? Boomerang on the development. Boomerang Doof doesn't really change much, right? Right? Like they are going to be the deck that plays too big to fail. So like getting their money down is like a very temporary thing. Boomerang Doof only really matters if we're going to use their lack of credits to charge this. And I don't think we are. Like at this point, we're just trying to win. We're going to see 2 cards here. So we have a chance of hitting the Hushik. But I think the best thing that we can do is like just get accesses, right? At this point too, with 6 bad publicity, like their top decks, they can just score from hand as well. So Bravado, charge, wake. Oh shit, I forgot we had wake. That's hard though, because if we put the boomerang here, we can't boomerang R&D. Thinking, sorry. They should have printed a core set complement expansion. That's a very niche product. I agree with you, but I understand why that wouldn't see shelves. That'd be a very confusing and weird product. But yeah, I hear you. Remember that time Andre said he paid attention to something if there were another Jinteki pop-up window? Yeah, Schmentrix. Everyone knew that wasn't correct. Okay, so what can we do? If we divert and we see one more Awaken Plant, that's obviously quite good. We'd have to use our boomerang on the envelopment, which is a bit difficult. This is where like a poison vial would be nice. Botchless on Outermost. This thing we know is probably a Whoredom if we're correct. We can boomerang that. So you're right. We could like boomerang Doof. Oh no. So we Doof. Just get the boomerang in there. That's 2 clicks. And then we'd have to install the revolver. We just don't have enough click compression to get that all down. Because we need the revolver for this, sort of. And that's not good. I honestly don't think we have to Doof this turn. I think we just see the top of the deck and then next turn we go for the diversion, right? Like it doesn't change that much. It's more about not the credit denial. You're totally right though. Like if anything, maybe we just don't diversion. Yo, Cody, how's it going? I don't think we diversion. I think we just like boomerang this. Yeah, I think that's just what we do. I don't think we actually need the Cat's Cradle boomerang. Oh, Cat's Cradle actually is sick. If that's a code gate, we can just Cat's Cradle it. We're pretty sure this is a code gate, right? Because I clearly didn't pay attention. Oh, we don't have... Fuck, I thought we had Masterwork. Oh my god. I thought we had Masterwork, so we can install a boomerang on the way. Thanks. Nice. That's very kind. I thought we'd Masterwork so we could clicklessly install a boomerang. If you were trying to figure out what I was doing, that was it. So now we definitely don't go HQ. Unfortunately, we learned the top of our deck, so that take back actually is a bit... probably wouldn't be granted in a tournament setting. Let's just say that. If this is a bulwark, it would get blown out. So we can install... Sorry. We can install the revolver for this. And then we have to hard cast the Botulus. Yeah, I think that's fair. And then we just Bravado R&D. Do we have a click for sure gamble? No, we have 2 no free lunches. What are we doing? Top 2 cards of stack. Okay, Cat's Cradle Boomerang. It's good to know. Also, knowing that you have a boomerang on top of your stack is actually really important. It was a Mouseless. Okay, that's fine. I thought it was a Hordem. Taking a tag is fine. Taking a net damage is fine. Them getting a credit is fine. So which of these is the least fine? Like, we already have the Botulus counter. We might as well. I think it's the net damage because the boomerang is a nice card. I wonder if we're giving up on the server that we shouldn't need to. But at this point, there's a border control there. That's the only problem. Let's not take the tag. Are you okay, Andre? Lots of unforced errors. Cror, I appreciate it, but it's like 11:30 and chat's going off and this deck is difficult. All right, we'll match. We actually, are we going to run archives this turn? We have bad publicity. It doesn't really change. I don't think if we use these or not. We use 2 bullets. Okay, 1 card. Rashida. I think them topping deck Rashida is better than anything else. I'm 99% sure Andre Forgotten the Envelopment has a printed sub. No? As in like we boomerang it and it's gone? Yeah, that's actually pretty cool, isn't it? That's pretty sick. Okay, I think here we have a Cat's Cradle and 2 boomerang, so I think we just run archives to get the Cat's Cradle down. It's like akin to clicking for 3 credits. And then that means we can have the boomerang on top. I think I'm fine with that. Insufficient MU? What? It doesn't matter. What? Huh? Well, yes, there is. Ozzy's in the chat. It's prime daytime viewing. Yeah. That didn't work the way I thought it would. I just needed to clear MU. I thought if I trashed it, it would clear on MU. It doesn't apparently. So I'm gonna trash this, run archives, hit this, install the Cat's Cradle. Okay. Their code gates are 1 more cost. That's fine. So now we have a boomerang on top of the deck. HQ we can wide open. So now we can smash HQ. We have a Rashida in hand. We can smash HQ and then C4 on R&D. Yeah, maybe next turn though. Last turn we could have just smashed this and trashed it. There's no op ability, so it's not going anywhere. Feel that, chat? That was the bus rolling over us. What do you mean just Matrix? Maybe shuffle. Yeah, maybe. It messes up the class act though. Like those are the sort of situations where it's really hard to roll back because shuffling messes up class act, which is advantageous potentially to me, and not shuffling, right? Like no matter what we were going to draw, but yeah, it does change the run. It's kind of really difficult. Printed proxies for the missing cards. Everybody played with was okay with it. Technically though, like if you played at Worlds back in FFG or any organized tournament, that was not cool. Obviously now it is, and that's huge. But like for me, if I was missing a 3rd core set, and I did buy a 3rd core set eventually, I would just ask a friend like, hey, can I borrow your you know, whatever it is. Okay, so would we rather have a boomerang in hand or boomerang on top of the deck? I think we'd rather have a boomerang on top of in our hand. So this is likely the Rashida. So that's our last thing that we're going to do. We're going to lose in 2 turns. So we need to lock the top of the deck. Again, they haven't scored any of their, I don't know the name of the 6-2 agenda. It has a really cool technical name. Boomerang and deck is better. Boomerang and deck is better, but the problem is like with this boomerang, we're going to shuffle it. So we're going to lose it, right? Where's your 6-2? Yeah, we're going to do the boomerang on top of the deck. We're gonna run HQ. Top 2 cards a sec. I know, right? Yeah, I'll find it. Don't worry. Oh, we have a masterwork coming up. That's not gonna matter because we're gonna prognostic this using that. Install on this. Oh, install on that. Continue. Break. This is up to? Yeah, up to. So we'll let the trash this ice fire. We're in. And we're just going to get 3 counters here, run R&D. Or actually, probably we're going to get 2 counters here and then run server 5 because we can't let them have a Rashida. Oh, it was there the whole time. Hey. Oh, they could have scored that out. Why did they score that out? Oh, I'm so surprised. Oh, it was a 0-point agenda and they didn't push it? Was that last click? I'm so surprised that they did not score that out. Okay, thanks for the game. Yeah, me too. That's so wild. Before the shuffle, we can't pull it again because prognostic is only once, so we can't actually pull the thing before the shuffle. If anything, maybe we shouldn't shuffle this boomerang and so that we can pull the masterwork on the next turn. Like that would be pretty reasonable, but at that point, like the game is getting over really quickly that the masterwork is actually kind of relatively low payoff, right? Are home printed alt art cards allowed at official NSG events? Yep, totally. 100%. You can find their whole policy on their website, but like if you watch the world stream, people are playing with black and white photocopies. Totally fine. You do want to put them, there's rules, like you need to put them on actual cardboard back so you can't tell the difference between them and other cards in your deck. So like magic cards, ONR cards, whatever you want. Or like rotated FFG cards, I guess. But yeah, you have to make sure that they're not hand drawn. They're very obvious. If you can print in color, it helps, but you don't need to. Yeah, as long as it has all the relevant text. There are different rules for different tournament levels, though. For Worlds, though, like they have to be actual representations. And the cool thing about it in all signal games, and admittedly, there was road bumps with this because there was a queue for it, but they would actually print out proxies for you. You could go to Worlds and be like, I'm missing these cards, and there was folks there with a printer that would print them out and cut them for you. So like, man, accessibility is sick, even for those who like don't have a printer. I don't have a printer. I go down the street to my sister and bother her for a printer when I need it. It's nice to have a sister. 5:30 a.m. here. I think I'll skedaddle and I'll watch the rest of the stream on YouTube. Hey, Piotr, thanks for joining us. I'm sorry it's so early or so late, but I don't think there's going to be much more to catch up on because I think that's going to be it for tonight. It's 11:35. Are there rules about fan arts? There are none. And some people have like mixed opinions about that. Like as a caster for Worlds, it was sometimes hard on tables to be like, I don't know what that card is. I don't know what that card is. Like you can't tell. And so then eventually, like throughout the weekend of Worlds, we figured out a workflow where we ran down and then like asked people to show them their alt arts in their deck so casters would at least know what it is. But then it's not easy for people to watch the game. It's kind of on us to be like, oh, by the way, that's a so-and-so. So it's mixed. I think like for competitive events, I have a lot of alt arts and like I got a lot of friends that like do art in the community and I love to support them and have their stuff in my deck. If I go to events though, it depends what it is, right? Like I love showing off my alt arts. Some people say that like, I wish that you only did the official stuff because people will have a better knowing of what that is as opposed to like your homebrew stuff or whatever. So I don't know. People have different rules on it. If it's a casual thing, I don't care. But if I'm going to like Worlds and like it's really, really high stakes, I might try and veer towards cards that I don't feel like it'll give me advantage when somebody looks at the top of R&D and it's like, what is that? And I kind of know like, oh, that's clearly the this and this card that I have a strange art for. Like I don't like that. And I don't think people are angle shooting. I think people just like their art. And again, buy artists cards. They're sick. Yeah. Apparently the TO can prohibit alt arts. I didn't know that. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of up to you and your community to decide what they want to do. The no single game rules are like very, very generous. Again, some people think it's for worse. Most of the time, I think it's a lot for better, especially also because, and that's the big thing, is that there's a lot of sets classically that you can't find anymore, right? Like Rain and Reverie, a lot of the old FFG sets are like really, really difficult to find the original copies of it. So like, that's why there's so many community run alt art versions of it. Like the Red Sand thing, is that wrapped yet? It almost should be about wrapped. But like Rain and Reverie has a full art reprint. The Katara Cycle has a full community art reprint set of it. So it's really good that stuff exists for accessibility, but there's a lot of people who don't know it and be like, I don't know what that is. And then it can slow the game down. Yep. I don't know. Mixed bag. Just make sure that your alt arts are like very legible from a distance and like the text isn't hard to read. I think that's, if the text is really hard to read, I might have a problem with it where like I literally cannot read the card. That's an issue. Cool. I think that's it. It's 11:40. Oh, Nanako's playing. She's out and she's in the wilderness hunting. thanks so much for everyone who joined. I think this as deck is actually probably worth playing. And like, yeah, admittedly, we'll cut the pool apart eventually, but it seems like a deck. That's it. I recorded some gameplay this week in startup. I don't know if it's going to become a video because it's a shaper deck and it turned out okay, but not miraculous. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, but like, it's fine. It's just like not amazing. So I need to like, it just kind of sucks when you put it together deck and then spend an afternoon recording and you're like, I don't think there's content in this. So we'll see. I printed up a Freedom Alt for Worlds and ended up buying Keezer's art. So sick. Yeah, I bought all the cat stuff there. It's really, really good. That's it. I'll see y'all in a week. We might be back with Pat next week. Take care of yourselves.